Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Come on now. We just got to go ahead and get in there. Nothing we can do. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Josh.
I noticed.
Folks should, yeah?
It seems like it should be later in the week, and I don't know if it's because we've got something to look forward to for Friday or what, but sometimes on a Tuesday, Dana will go, wow, it's so nice that it's a Thursday. You skip ahead a couple of days. You haven't done that this week.
I haven't done it this week, but it did happen last week. I told you guys this off the air. I was at a stoplight last Monday on the way home. I was just exhausted. I yawned so hard, I thought my jaw was going to fall off, and I thought, hey, at least tomorrow's Thursday, man. We got this. I go, wait, no, not even close. Tomorrow's Tuesday.
You screwed that up.
Yeah.
Big time.
Uh-huh.
It's different this week, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And I think it's because we got this deal to look forward to on Friday night.
Yes.
Folks ought to pay attention. They ought to pay attention because what Josh is referencing there, we're going to keep stacking fools up on our Booze Cruise guest list. So listen for that silly keyword to text in. The one and only way to find your sad ass on this Friday's boat party or involved in this Friday's boat party is to win your way into the mix. Friday night, 7 to 10 p.m. Did I get the right time?
You did.
7 to 10 p.m. on the beautiful St. Croix Rivers, Stillwater River Boats, sponsored by Warner's Dock Red Wing Shoes. The whole schmear. Cubby the Cuck King will be there. Live music from a professional disc jockey. Full bar as far as I know. Tables, chairs, bathrooms, hot dogs, potato chips.
I'm so excited for the hot dogs.
I know, you've been looking forward to that. That's one thing you've brought up a few times.
It's like a weird pregnancy craving of mine. I don't know what's been going on, but I don't know about you guys, but this has been making me mad lately because I've been eating a lot of hot dogs. How come when you make them at home, they never taste like the ones from like the gas station or a water park or a ball game? Like, you can get the exact same buns, exact same hot dogs, but they just don't hit the same.
You got to get the rollers.
Is that what it is? Is that what adds that extra flavor?
Yeah, I mean, when the flavor is caked into those rollers after years and years and years, yeah, that's the good stuff.
It is. It's probably the unwashed rollers and other devices they use to cook a wiener at a ball game or a gas station. Decades of fungus and bacteria. And
That's what that really is.
I need to get one of those then.
From all the hot dogs that have passed in the past, you're soaking that up on those wieners that are rolling around. That and probably some sort of virus. A tasty one.
For the Cuck King over there, Josh, our boat parties mean talking. Lots and lots of talking. He doesn't want anybody to walk by him without him giving them a good talking to. But, sometimes a guy can F himself, can't he, Josh?
It's possible.
Sometimes a guy can start a conversation on a boat or anywhere else. And suddenly that guy realizes, oh, no, I really don't like this person that I'm talking to. How do I get out of this? So Josh and I...
We've taken surveys, and every person that I try and talk to and welcome to the boat, they all say that about me. I ended up with one guy I didn't want to talk to, and he wouldn't shut up. I'll talk myself hoarse on those things. I have a very weak voice.
True. All of what he just said is true. Now, when you find yourself in that situation, some folks can just walk away. You've gotten into a conversation with someone that you've realized, oh, no, I really don't like this person. some folks can just walk away. Josh can't do that. He's too nice. He's too Catholic, whatever the problem is. So we developed a bit many, many years ago. You've heard us mention this before. We developed the "you've got a telephone call" bit back in the day. And it can still be used even today, where if at these events, if I noticed Josh looked miserable talking to someone, I would walk up and say, "Hey, dude, Wade's on the phone." Wade was our old program director many years ago. And Josh would do the same for me. If I appeared to be stuck, he'd walk up and say, "Yeah, you got to go call Wade." And I go, "Oh, okay. I'll be there in just..." And that gives you an out. Still works today, even with cellular telephones. It was developed before cellular telephones, this routine, but it still can be used today.
And, sometimes people would, they knew the bit because we brought it up before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay. I see what's happening here. And the problem with my face is I look miserable when I'm not. And I've had people say, "Hey, is everything all right?" And I'm having a great time. It's just I have a really dumb face. I don't know how to control my face.
Well, I think sometimes your anxieties show on your face.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Where I'm worried like, oh, no, I don't know how to small talk, and they're figuring this out. Or, boy, this story's going absolutely nowhere, and I can tell I've lost the couple people.
How am I going to wrap up this story? I'm going to have to make something up.
The aristocrats. Throw that at the end.
So, with all of that in mind, maybe one or two of you can jump in on this. Not only, the four of us, but our listening audience, 651-989-9393. What are some of the things you've done to completely avoid someone? So you're trying to avoid even getting into a conversation with that someone.
I pretend I'm talking on the phone a lot. Like, a lot.
So give us a scenario, like you're at a bar, you see someone walk in that you don't want to communicate with, and you'll pick your telephone up out of your pocket and pretend like you're talking into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
if it's mostly like if I'm out at the store, out and about, and I see someone out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, they're definitely going to see me. I don't want to have this awkward conversation. I'll just pick up, "Oh, hi. Oh, hey, Mom. Yeah, I'm just at Target. Strolling through the grocery aisle."
Will you at least wave to that someone?
No.
No,
I'm completely engulfed in my phone call.
In your phony phone call.
Yes.
So you don't even have the phone to your ear and just to the person you don't want to talk to. "Hey, how you doing? I wish I could talk right now, but you don't even do that.
No. They'll see I'm on the phone.
It's funny. I just saw an episode of Malcolm in the Middle the other day where Dewey was in trouble for something, and he picked up the home phone and pretended he was having a conversation with someone to avoid his brothers or his parents, and they bought it until the phone rang.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
I'm so afraid of that happening.
I never considered that. That'd be hilarious. If I see you doing that, I'm calling you. I'm going to test that out.
Feel free to text us. What are some of the things you've done to avoid somebody, whether you know they're a pain in the ass or you just don't want to engage in the first place? My dad used to have a system when he was driving truck. A lot of days he would just sit at the house waiting for that telephone call from dispatch that would send him out on the road. He would usually get called in at night. Hey, we got a 1 a.m., we got a 4 a.m., that kind of a thing. So during the day, he would just sit there, watching television, waiting for the phone to ring. And there were certain people that would stop by, knowing that he usually was sitting there doing nothing during the day. There were certain people who would stop by. Some folks he loved when they stopped by. Others he did not. So there were times when I was at the house with the old man, and a car would pull into the driveway, and he knew it was driven by someone he did not want to engage with in this moment. So I never saw the man move so fast. He would jump out of his easy chair and go dive into bed and pretend like he was asleep. And then he would ask me, "Hey, tell him I'm asleep." That was his thing.
I hid behind a stairway once at my house.
Obviously, being at home was a big benefit to him. He had an escape route. What was that now?
I hid behind a stairway once at my house because there's a kid that comes over all the time. And when he comes over and, my son's not around, he wants to talk forever. And so if I'm in the middle of working... you know how it is. Like you're kind of doing your thing, and you don't want to get out of that mindset. So I saw him once. I'm like, oh no, I can't. I'm in the middle of this. I got to get this done. I got to get this to this person, whatever. And
You're a grown man.
Yeah, and I felt like a moron. And he stays there forever. So I'm standing behind a staircase going, what am I doing? This is so stupid. But at that point, I committed.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
You saw him walking up the driveway.
Yeah.
You ran behind the staircase, allowed him to ring the doorbell 7 or 8 times, and you just stayed motionless.
Yeah, because my little home studio's upstairs. I'm like, well, I'm trapped on the stairs now. And
Hilarious.
because the stairs face the front door, there's nothing I can do. I got to just sit there for a couple of minutes.
Even if your son's not home, the kid wants to talk to you.
Yeah, you know, he likes to gab. And
Man, that's nuts.
I love the kid. He's one of the greatest kids in the neighborhood. But at the same time, sometimes, you know, when you're in the middle of something going, this isn't going to be a quick, hey, sorry, he's not home, and then he takes off. This is going to take a while.
That's kind of adorable.
So-
He just wants to have a little conversation with you. That's what?
So you're busy is why you don't want to engage with this kid. If you have free time, we already discussed how you can talk until you drop unconscious. If you have free time, I bet you and this kid could set some kind of a world record.
Oh, we do pretty well.
Yeah.
Like he'll walk, if he's like yesterday, he saw me mowing the lawn, and he walked over and we talked for a while.
Yeah. How long is a while? 45 minutes?
No, like 15 minutes.
Is he like a 50-year-old soul?
He is. You know, he actually seems to almost prefer adults. And he's a really bright kid. So, you know, he'll talk about, you know, whatever. Stuff that the kids don't want to talk about.
What was your personal record from a while back where you came home from work, and I believe, no surprise if you know Josh's life, no surprise there was some kind of a work crew working at your home that day. Remember this, Josh?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You said hello to this work crew, and then how much time passed before you were done talking to them?
This was actually a guy coming out for an estimate on our roof after a big storm.
So he was a complete stranger.
Complete stranger.
Yeah.
And we clicked. Super cool guy. And all of a sudden I realized, like, I missed dinner, everything. It was like 3 hours in my driveway.
Oh, my God.
Come on!
Yeah, that one set a record.
Oh, my gosh.
The most extreme thing I've ever done to avoid a conversation was a canvasser for a political person who walked up my driveway, and I was, like, trapped. I was sawing some stuff, and I'm in the middle of it, so I'm like, oh, no, what am I going to do? I pretended I didn't speak English. I felt like a complete dick afterwards because the guy knew I spoke English. But
yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand a word you're saying. I speak zero English. And he kind of looked at me and then walked away.
My dogs help me out if anybody ever comes to my house because, I mean, all 3 of them just go absolutely ballistic. So the people that ring my doorbell, I mean, they're already getting me in a bad mood. And they usually understand, like, okay, yeah, we've got maybe like 10 seconds to tell this girl what we want.
Here's a listener who says he and his wife also have a code word between the two of them when they need to be extracted from those conversations or situations. Good call.
Where was this text? I got to find this again. Oh, up at the crack of dawn, Jesus. Ever since COVID, if I see someone walking toward me I don't want to talk to, I fake a coughing attack.
No, that's smart.
They've got a quiet room at Medical Device Jesus' work. And so when people want to avoid conversations, they just go in there with their laptop and do their thing.
I would spend the whole day in there.
Yeah, that would just be my office.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, I've heard from people that work like in a corporate environment, which we kind of do here.
Yeah.
Where they say they just don't get any work done because, you know, people will come up, they talk about this or that, and then they're just kind of stuck, not avoiding work, but they just can't get
A
to it.
friggin' quiet room where no one's allowed to say dick. Huh, that's really, simple yet brilliant. I can't think of, I suppose, I don't think I've done anything really elaborate to avoid someone, unless I'm forgetting something. But, we've all been in that situation where you're sitting in the neighborhood bar and here comes Dinkus, and you just don't have the energy for Dinkus on that particular evening. So I suppose, now that I'm thinking about it, I will act really engaged in the ball game.
Yeah.
Where suddenly I'm, commenting out loud where otherwise I would normally watch the game in complete silence. Suddenly I'm going, you call that a strike? Come on, that's on the outside. And then maybe I'll engage in conversation out of nowhere with someone in order to make myself appear busy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really engaged in the game, or suddenly I really want to talk to this guy to my left to avoid Dinkus, who just walked into the bar. I can't think of anything dramatic.
A couple of people are saying if someone comes to their door and they don't know them, they don't answer it. And that's usually, I'm the same way for the most part. There was one time at my last house, like the little room with my computer was right next to the front door, like a big window right there. So I'm basically sitting next to the person with some glass in between us.
They can see you sitting there
easily.
as they're walking up your front steps.
And I'm sitting right next to the window. Right next to it. So you can see everybody at the front door. And a guy walked up. And again, I was kind of in the middle of work. And I'm like, I don't know this guy. I'm not going to. We had so many solicitors in that neighborhood. I'm not even going to answer. And he's kind of staring at me. And I kind of glanced at him and then went back to what I was doing. Well, the next day, my wife came home and said, hey, was there a guy with glasses that came to our door last night? And, you basically looked at him and then looked away and didn't answer the door? And I started laughing. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, how would you know that? She said that he showed up at her work. Apparently, he was somebody serving papers. Her workplace was getting sued.
Oh,
and so he wanted to serve my wife and a bunch of other employees' papers. So I avoided that for an evening.
Huh. I felt like an idiot the other day, too, Josh, because our neighborhood, we've gotten a lot of solicitors recently, and I always just try to avoid them. I just, kind of duck down on the couch, pretend like I'm not there. Doorbell rang, and I'm like, I'm not answering that. I don't care who it is. All of a sudden, knock, 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 knock on the door. I'm still just avoiding it. Then on the third knock, 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 I finally get up. I'm kind of like, what the hell do you want? It was a guy delivering a huge flower arrangement for my wife.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I will take these inside, good sir.
That was very sweet of whoever sent them.
Exactly.
What's that now?
Ninja Turtle Nutcase Jesus usually just pretends he can't hear people. Or he'll put headphones on with no music so people think that he's listening to music and he can't hear them.
At home, like at work?
He said at work,
At work, yeah. Put the headphones on. I'm listening to... Here are some other ways people have avoided someone. Crawled under a restaurant table. That's a little extreme.
I wonder if that's one of those panic moves, just like the staircase for me, where immediately go, I am so stupid. It's going to be so much worse if they see me.
I'm in my 40s or something, and but we all know someone who's that bad. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, these people, they don't mean any harm. They're just too damn much. Way too. I once laid flat in the back seat of my own car to avoid an old coworker. Oh, God, no. Can't do it today.
They came to the window.
Just, you freeze and just remain motionless. Pretended to be asleep because someone from high school sat down across from me on a bus or something. Pretended to be asleep. My damn. At a family event, I climbed out a bathroom window. Good, to avoid talking to my cousin.
HVAC/R and stuff jumped off a boat once. Somebody else said that if they're operating the boat, they'll pretend they can't hear folks over the engine noise or the motor.
Yeah. Someone jumped off a boat?
Yeah.
Is there any details there?
No.
Oh, come on, give us more on that. You jumped off a boat. Ducked into the photo booth at the mall and pretended to take pictures in there.
That's cute.
Nobody goes into the photo booth at the mall.
Better than Dana at Mario Kart Jesus says when he's shopping at Sam's Club, he will take the long way around the store to avoid talking to the vendors. Wait, we got smoothies.
Hid behind a rack of pool noodles at Walmart when I saw one of my coworkers I didn't want to talk to. There's not a lot of places to hide on the boat, Josh. I mean,
maybe the bathroom.
Maybe the bathroom.
I've used the bathroom as an excuse to get out of conversations like that.
You mean like you got a code brown or I got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I'll be right back. I go to the bathroom. Then you just don't really ever come back.
Yeah, I've been able to abuse that quite a bit.
Fake telephone calls. That's great. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, like I said, we all know that person where As soon as they walk into work or walk into the bar or walk into a house party, you say to yourself, here we friggin' go.
Is this true? This person says, I once had a coworker who jumped out of a moving car at 45 miles per hour just to get out of talking to his wife. Well, we've certainly heard stories like that.
I know a guy who jumped out of him. Anyway, I don't know if it was because of his wife, but he jumped out of a moving car.
Somebody slammed the door in the face of some folks that came and talked about religion. I got stuck doing that a couple weeks ago. Couple really nice ladies. They showed up at the door, and I thought, oh, maybe they're lost or something. And they're like, hey.
They never are.
Well, they weren't.
They're never lost, are they? They know exactly where they are.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we just wanted we're showing, kind of walking around the neighborhood, and we're praying with people today.
Oh, no.
Did you have a good pray?
And I thought, uh-oh. And they're like, we'd like to say a prayer with you. And I thought, well, why not? And then they're like, well, what would you like to pray about? And I'm like, well, I'm really getting put on the spot here. And then there was one lady that was very nervous. Another one was kind of running the show. So they were probably training in this religious lady. And they're flipping through scriptures and stuff. They picked a couple. We did a couple of prayers, and that was that.
You really went along with it?
Wow.
Well, what was I going to do?
Well, probably what I did like 2 weeks ago. I had the same thing happen. And like I said, my dogs go crazy. I didn't answer the door. And they decided to ring the doorbell again. If I don't answer the first time, what are you doing? And so I went out there and what? And
what do you want?
And they started like their little spiel. And they were also like way too close to my door. I could barely open my door. I was like, would you just like to come in at this point?
Yeah.
And I was just like, nope, I'm good. Bye.
Yeah.
Shut the door. I did feel a little bad later about it, Josh.
Of course you talk to him, Josh. I mean, that's how you're wired.
Bad timing. Jesus had the same folks stop over. And he answered. Wait a minute. Okay, I'll read it. Once chased off some of those religious folks with a shotgun when they wouldn't take a direct "get the F off my property" as a hint. I'd take that as a hint if you said "get the F off my property."
Jesus, criminy. Now he's waving around a shotgun. These people were quite relentless.
He was having a day.
Back to
Josh,
Jesus faked sign language to avoid a solicitor.
Do you ever consider putting a sign on your door that says "No solicitors"? Now,
I was just going to ask about that. Is that douchey?
Douchey?
Yeah.
Why would
No.
that
To make you seem like kind of an a-hole.
I did
hell
that at
no.
my last house.
Okay.
And it didn't make a difference.
Didn't make a difference. They still come up anyway?
It made no difference whatsoever. I mean, it was crazy. A few times a week, somebody would come by doing something.
Oh, really? We put a "No solicitors" sign on our door, and we haven't had anyone walk up there in months.
See, I've always
I even
wanted,
had a... Sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
I've always wanted to do that, but I was telling my fiance I want a sign that says, like, "No solicitors unless you're a Girl Scout" or something along those lines. But he was like, that might look a little weird.
In which case, put on these handcuffs and go downstairs.
I suppose not knowing the resident, not knowing the inhabitants of that property, it might look really weird for a sign to say "No solicitors unless you're a Girl Scout." Yeah. Well, and people in the Girl Scouts are thinking, well, who the hell's in there?
Milk Harvester Jesus recommends next time the religious folks show up, I just throw out a couple of "Hail Satan" chants, and they'll go away.
Why not? Why not? They're on your friggin' property. They're bothering you. Boy, the Jesus freaks are really on the loose, it sounds like, lately. Josh, when I first moved into my current house, as you know, all of yous, Ashley, I'm wondering if you had this experience. A couple people came to the door to welcome me to the neighborhood. Did you have that experience in Coon Rapids? Probably not. They're not very friendly in Coon Rapids.
No, it was more of like a backyard over the fence meet and
Okay,
greet.
I had one of those too. But a couple folks came to the door and said, "Hey, just wanted to say hello. I'm Donnie. I'm down this way," right?
That's sweet.
So I had that in mind maybe 2 or 3 days after I moved in, and the doorbell rings, and there's this old lady at the door. And I figured, oh, this old lady's in the neighborhood. She wants to welcome me to the... So I open up the door, and she did say, "I'm Louise," whatever her name was. "I want to welcome you to the neighborhood, and I want to give you this." And she handed me a card. And I said, "Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you for welcoming to the neighborhood, welcoming me." And goodbye, shut the door. And I thought inside the card it would be a welcome to the neighborhood card. Inside the card was a Jesus is gonna get you doomsday card. I mean, it was an invitation to her church, I believe. This is, 7 or 8 years ago now. But it was all kinds of rhetoric about how if I do not straighten my life out, I am going to roast like a pig on a spit. It was the darkest religious material I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought, wow-wa-wee-wa. We've got one in the neighborhood, everybody. We got one.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus has a no solicitor sign on their front door, and it does not work. Yeah, I added a mat to it as well that just said, nah, we're good. No soliciting, please. And that didn't make a difference either.
Well, I wonder why. I mean, what the hell's wrong with these people?
I don't know. I was shopping for one the other day because, like I said, we've been getting hit a lot lately by door knockers. There's some real sassy no soliciting signs out there you can buy.
Well, yes, something like Josh. What did you? I'm sorry. The dude who was waving around a shotgun. He directly said, "Get the F off."
Get off. Yeah.
There are doormats that will say, "Get the F off my property." Yeah, but a little more than just sass. I mean, it's pretty direct if you want to go that route.
Black Cop Jesus said, as a cop, I sometimes pretend to get a call and talk into the radio to avoid talking to people.
Oh.
And there's a couple of firefighters who text in and said, yeah, I pretend I'm getting a page and I got to run to a fire.
Great to have that option.
I thought of another one I have done, and this one gets you out of it easy when they say, hey, are you the homeowner? And I say, no, we're renting. Oh. And then they walk away at that point.
Oh, dude, that's so smart. How come I never thought of that?
Sometimes it's always the simplest things that'll get you out of trouble. Good call, Cubby.
Somebody else said that they say, it's kind of you caught us at a bad time. The house is getting foreclosed on. He said that one gets people away, too.
Yeah.
One more time?
Did you just say the house is being foreclosed?
Oh.
Mentally drunk but not physically drunk, Jesus said, we have a sign that says no solicitors unless you're selling cookies or popcorn.
Oh, see, yeah, something like that would be perfect.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I can live by that motto.
True.
Yeah, well, we'll see how you do Friday, Josh. But remember.
I love it. I mean, I'm not excited to sit in a chair for an extended period of time.
I'm jealous of you.
But I definitely enjoy this.
It's going to be so much fun when you're doing the Cuck King routine. How come you can't have a positive attitude about being the Cuck King?
Well, it's a funny bit. But what's bothering me is having to sit there for so long. Just sit there.
Oh, the line of people wanting to come up and meet the Cuck King's going to be around the boat.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, I do.
I think they'll be moving right past me to the bar.
So we'll see how you do Friday, and keep in mind, you can always go back to the old reliable bit. I'll tell you, I'll help you, like I always try to. And I'll tell you, look, bro, Wade's on the telephone. He's got to talk to you.
And I appreciate the longtime listeners that remember we used to have a bit. Back in the day, folks wanted to do radio interviews, and that's not quite the case anymore, right?
Oh, and we're in the same boat. We don't want to do radio interviews anymore either.
No, and trust me, I'm not complaining about that.
No.
But, I mean, like, back, in the day, you could get a band, you can get an actor, something like that. But, they'd rather do a podcast, which I totally understand because they can do that at 6 p.m. or whatever. And it's big stars that they're talking to. So a few folks have texted in and said, remember when you have an interview and it just wasn't going well and we just didn't like it and it was obvious there's no chemistry? We just always say, well, Whitesnake's coming in studio, so we got to let you go.
Yep.
And then after a while, it just shortened to us starting with the riff doing the Still of the Night.
We would just play Whitesnake.
And then, listeners would understand exactly what's going on.
Listeners would know that we have lost
we're tired of this.
Yeah, we've lost our patience with this person. And, yeah, I mean, if you weren't paying full attention 20 years ago on this show, a few of our listeners must have been saying to themselves, how often do these idiots have to have Whitesnake in studio? Why is Whitesnake the house band for this friggin' radio station? But that was our go-to bit. All right. We'll get her going for real. Again, be listening for your chance to get on our Independence Day boat party coming up this Friday.
Lots of free tickets to give out this week.
There's plenty. So if you hear that friggin' keyword, get on it. Because it this week, it means we're probably giving away more than one chance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This week, when you hear that keyword, it doesn't mean just one person's. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's a chance for multiple people to get in there.
Same with the podcast.
Same with the podcast.
Exact same thing. So it's
Exactly.
not just one winner. Your odds are greatly increased this week.
It's a hell of a deal. So, stupid news will be coming up right around the corner here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
We're throwing open the metaphorical closet doors of our lives. We're going to be cleaning out the closet. What no longer fits? Audit some of your relationships. How about auditing your emotions? Maybe it's your career you need to look at. Get your life together for this season.
The Ed Milet Show.
It's time for a little cleaning of the soul. Let's get a little ruthless, a little refreshing, and a little real. God bless you, everyone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, man. Where do we go with this? Oh, we were talking about avoiding a conversation. Some of the things we've done to avoid a conversation. Our listeners chimed in, of course, 651-989-9393. You know, sometimes you see someone you know you don't like, and you'll do damn near anything to avoid locking into a conversation with these bastards. Sometimes you're just not feeling like talking at all. Some of our listeners have dove under tables to hide from someone they don't want to talk to. Hell, Josh, as a grown man, hid behind a staircase to avoid a conversation with a child.
Which I'm still embarrassed about.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. Then we got onto the conversation of solicitors. You know who likes to get into a good conversation? A solicitor. And our listeners chimed in on how they've dealt with some of those peckerheads. Baudette, fishing guy Jesus, texted in to say he once told a lady solicitor at his door to come back when his mom is home. I was 39 years old at the time. Now, how about this? In the late 1990s, one of our listeners had some religious people stop by the house. I told them, hey, I'm busy doing homework. Well, they didn't preach to him. They asked, well, what subject are you, what are you studying? And he told them. And they said, well, we can help. The religious folks went to the library and printed out a bunch of information for his assignment.
Wow.
So God did his homework.
That's nice.
That's great.
Wow.
The next day, if the teacher looked at your report and said, hey, who wrote this? The kid could say, God did.
You're going to give God a C-? Come on now.
And on the topic of, you know, some folks, they just don't give up. Once they lock you in a conversation, are you in for a poke? They just can't shut their friggin'. One of our listeners says, my coworker is a talk chaser. I know one or two of those.
Oh, those are the worst.
What is that?
That's where you try to walk away from the conversation, Ashley, and they follow you.
Oh, I hate that.
My coworker is a talk chaser. If I take a step back to walk away, he takes a step with me. He says the most I've ever moved was about 50 yards from where the initial conversation started.
You know, we know a guy like that, and he's one of the most dangerous, scary people we've probably ever met. To remind you, you had a look on your face. Like
Yeah,
you
I'm not sure.
He was on the boat cruise a few years back, had to be talked to by law enforcement, and had his shirt completely ripped off.
Okay, I don't remember that he was a talk chaser. I remember all the scary elements of the man. But
Yeah, he is a big-time talk chaser.
He'll, as you're walking away, all right, dude, night, he'll continue to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We begin today's stupid news with a character that should be familiar to some of you. We've covered this disgusting pain in the ass once before. And it's frustrating to have to bring him up again because it means that he hasn't been caught by the cops yet. And I can only imagine what his direct victims are feeling, what they're going through. I'm talking about the guy who keeps leaving big, wet, warm plastic jugs full of whiz all over the city of Portland in Oregon. That's the guy I'm talking about. Do you remember the guy with the piss jugs?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think confusion would be maybe one of the longest lasting things that would stick with me. Just not understanding why he's peeing in jugs, first and foremost, and then leaving them on my property.
Why my property?
Yeah, what did I do?
So we've covered him before. He hasn't been caught yet. And apparently now, as they put it here in the story, he's marking new territory. And the locals want the guy dead at this point. It's been months that he's been pulling this cute gimmick. The story calls him the Portland Pisser. I can't say for sure if that name came straight from the people of Portland or the author of the article. But they call him the Portland Pisser. In case you're new to this guy, I'll catch yous up. For nearly a year, that wasn't clear to me the first time I went through the story. For nearly a year, this derelict has been leaving milk cartons and water jugs full of urine in the recycling bins of one particular neighborhood in Portland. He wears a hood over his head. And that's about all that anyone can tell you about the guy.
Yeah, outside of his car. I mean, they know his car, too.
Oh, he's got a car.
Yeah.
He shows up late at night with his offerings. And like I said, folks have had enough. They wake up and their recycle bins are choked with jugs of urine.
And it must take him a while. I mean, these are big jugs. And it's multiple jugs he drops off at multiple homes.
Yeah, if it's just him, maybe he's using piss minions.
An accomplice.
An accomplice?
A compass,
you should
yeah.
let
I put an extra L in there. I blew it.
I didn't want to criticize anyone's humor, but yeah, if you got rid of that L, that would
have worked. That might have played a little bit better than it did.
It would.
But you're right, Josh. If he's doing it all on his own, my damn. So now he's moved on to a new neighborhood. Some of you will have to try to control yourselves when I tell you that the new town he's dialed into is called Beaverton. Just down the road from Portland. It is Beaverton. And the piss bomb guy, now he's even showing up with his hot jugs of number onesies. He's showing up in broad daylight. He's become more brazen. A gal in the Beaverton neighborhood said that a day or two ago she was working from home when a mysterious character pulled up to her house in his motor vehicle. He stuck something in her recycling bin and then he drove smooth off. When she went outside to see what gives, there were 2 warm bottles of wee-wee in her recycle bucket, and this gal knew right away. Everyone in Oregon knows about the Portland Pisser, so she knew right away, oh, for Christ's sake, I'm the latest victim. What now?
I was going to think the fact that it's warm just makes it so much worse. Oh, this is a fresh offering.
In this case, she said it was even kind of hot to the touch.
Oh.
Yeah, it was red hot.
Must have made that in the car on the way over.
Now, there is a chance that this was a copycat crime But this gal from Beaverton, she thinks for sure it was the same effing loser that soaked Portland.
I mean, unless he has an accomplice.
You did it, Josh. Well done.
6 to noon, Jesus works for his dad's cement company. They never have bathrooms, when they're working. So they will fill up water bottles, coffee cups, and then they throw them into other guys' trucks. He said there's one poor dude that deals with hot, tormented pee bottles at the end of every week.
It's a prank. They all throw their
I guess
pee
they just maybe pick a guy, and you're the guy this week.
So, Cubby, the saga continues here.
I mean, some of these stories, it's not so much exactly what this guy's doing. Let me take that back. The confusion of why are you doing this in the first place? It's a weird thing, but why are we involved in what you're doing?
Yeah. Why does he make it personal?
Like, spreading it around. Like, if it's a guy that doesn't have a bathroom and doesn't go outside, if it's like a garbage can, like a dumpster outside of a business or something, you can kind of understand that, as weird as it is.
Well, yeah, it'd be pretty weird if you found somebody who doesn't have a bathroom and refuses to urinate outside. Yeah. That would be weird. But no, I understand what you mean. Why is it personal? Why is he picking specifically on people's recycle bins? Why? We could do it all day. I don't friggin' know. You know what's going to end up happening? This guy's going to get shot.
Probably.
Poor bastard's going to get shot.
It's crazy they haven't got him yet, though. There's so much video of him.
I don't know. It's a big city, I guess. All right. I guess it's Portland, Oregon's lucky day. We got back-to-back reports from Portland. It's, this is the most attention that Portland has had in years, I would imagine, since the days of Clyde Drexler, Josh, and Terry Porter, and Jerome Kersey and Buck Williams and Kevin Duckworth. The cops have more than just a piss criminal running wild through town. There are plenty of other lowlifes to deal with. Let me give you a rundown on this dangerous maniac, and then at the very end, I'm going to throw a twist at you, and I hope you really enjoy it. I do. So here's this dildo bag's resume right here. He started with a high-speed chase. Then he started firing gunshots at the cops. He smashed his car into a police cruiser. He fled on foot. He ran across a golf course to try and escape, probably running across the green while some golf douche was trying to make a putt, and that's not cool. The cops had to put out one of those shelter-in-place type announcements because they thought this puke bag might try and kill somebody or another. He got away. And here's where I hope I can get you. The guy's name that caused all this nonsense to cut loose, for real, his name is Looney Tune.
Shelby, first question, and it's on everybody's mind right now, is that actually the suspect's name?
So his full name is Looney John Franklin Tune.
John Franklin.
Wait a minute, John Franklin's the funny part in your opinion?
I mean, like, he's got like a weird first name, weird last name, then he's got two normal middle names.
Looney Tune, spelled almost exactly the same way it appeared on your mother's television when you were a kid. He goes Loony as opposed to Looney. Tune, Toon. And he's still on the run. He was out of there like he was Bugs Bunny. He scooted out of there like Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck. Well, who were some of your other favorite Looney Tunes characters, Josh?
Well, you nailed them. I liked Yosemite Sam.
Oh.
Thought he was pretty great.
Yeah.
I always liked the baby version. Like when the
Tiny Toons?
Yeah, when they make them all cute and young, that was the best.
That was a fun show.
We missed that, didn't we? They weren't making Tiny Toons when we were young people, were they, Josh?
No.
It was just... What, you telling me Yosemite Sam has a baby character where he does not have a giant red mustache? I wouldn't recognize him.
I can't remember him specifically.
There's so many. Foghorn Leghorn. One of my uncles. It reminds me of one of my uncles because he would always use that. That boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball.
Yeah.
He'd use that line.
I gotta
Pepe Le Pew. He was a stud.
Pepe Le Pew. Some say he was quite inappropriate.
I suppose maybe that hasn't aged well. It's been a while since I watched it.
I would go with Porky Pig.
He was good.
Nervous little bastard that he was.
Yeah.
My damn.
What
Relax.
about Tasmanian Devil? My cousin loved the Tasmanian Devil so much he has a tattoo of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got what?
That just
sink in.
That just sunk in for you?
Your cousin has a tattoo of the Tasmanian Devil?
Yeah.
Ah.
Marvin the Martian. That seems like somebody you would have liked.
Oh, yeah.
That's a deep cut.
Very funny.
Oh, it wasn't that sad.
I loved him.
No, he was quite regular with his monotone voice.
Yeah.
See if you can find some audio of any. I don't know who has a computer that works.
Mine works now. He fixed it yesterday.
Marvin the Martian had, if I remember right, he had kind of a very low monotone delivery, but I can't quite piece it together in my noggin. All right, we'll find Marvin the Martian. Oh, but we'll have to.
After 2,000
This
years
guy.
of
Oh,
work,
it was a little
the
more.
Iridium Q36 explosive space modulator. At long last, my dream come true.
Hello, Earth. Hey, hello, what? If that's the Earth, where the cotton-picking heck am I?
You are on Mars. Isn't that lovely?
Marvin the Martian.
He had a little more of a dorky
Awesome.
I forgot about that.
delivery.
Speedy Gonzalez was fun. Yeah. Did you mention Tweety? Boy,
I did not.
Tweety, he had an attitude on him.
Yeah, I always wanted to choke that little sumbitch out.
Yeah.
All right, me and a couple of pals, just over the weekend, we were talking about our high school graduation parties. The ones that your folks throw for you at the house.
Yep.
Hell, my folks were cool with the beer drinking at me and my twin brother's high school grad party. They loaded up some coolers of beer. Big Phil's folks, that's one of my pals who I was hanging out with over the weekend. Big Phil's folks even got him a keg.
We had a keg at my graduation party, but I wasn't allowed to drink it until once it got a little bit later, once some people started to leave.
Oh, that's lame. Now, I know we weren't the only ones whose folks were pretty relaxed on that kind of thing. In the conversation we were having about how, times are different now, and they are. I personally wouldn't take a chance. I wouldn't.
No.
I don't think I would provide a keg for my kid unless I really, really trusted him, really trusted his buddies. I don't know. I guess it's tough to say whether I would or not. Here's an original idea for a kid's grad party. A set of parents out there in Taiwan hired pole dancers to celebrate their son's graduation.
Oh, so weird.
Now, from what I understand, these weren't strippers, just pole dancers. And how pole dancing is taught nowadays as a form of exercise. But it was interesting to read that this kid's folks set up the pole dancing show right outside the kid's high school. So right when he walked out, all graduated, the show kicked in right then and there. And the word is the crowd of teenage boys got so friggin' buck wild that the cops had to race to the scene and start clubbing kids over the head to get them to back off.
There was a photo of a couple of the boys who had, and they might have just timed this out perfectly, but their hands were covering their crotches. So I don't know if something was actually happening there or if just that's how the picture turned out. They just got it at the right or wrong time.
Well, you remember how we used to watch porno when we were in junior high, right, Josh?
I only saw one when I was in junior high.
Oh, that's right. And
it was horrible.
And you almost vomited.
It was absolutely terrible.
I remember when we were 6th, 7th grade kids and someone got their hands on a porno movie and we'd go to their house after school. So, 5, 6 young guys. You throw a porno in the VCR. Kind of subconsciously or unconsciously, whatever the proper word was, we all ended up with pillows in our lap.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
I knew immediately where you were going with that.
Or a blanket or so. Because what are you shaking your head at, Ashley? You don't want to have a raging boner in front of your 6th grade buddies.
Because you and I guess Dana now, you're the only people I've ever known that have group watched porn so much in your life.
I would say it was like a common occurrence, but
I literally don't know no other men in my life.
Well,
and I've asked these questions because I'm like, how common is this? And they're like, that's weird.
Ashley, you grew up in the internet porn phase.
Right, that's the difference.
That's the difference. A DVD was like a hot commodity. Somebody got their hands on one of them, and it was... my God, we need to watch this.
I still can't fathom sitting in a room and getting turned on with all my girlfriends.
Well, you're not necessarily turned on from what I've been told.
Well, if you got a pillow over your lap,
okay,
isn't something happening?
Just because you have a hard on doesn't mean you're turned on. There's nothing we can do about it in certain situations. Ashley, it's like Dana said. It's a generational thing. If I were your age, of course I would have raced right home after school and watched porno movies alone on the internet because there are 6 million of them available to me. In 1983, there were maybe 5 porno movies that existed in Wayzata. 5 of them.
And there was a long waiting list, Ashley.
And when you got one, you of course, I would have preferred to watch it alone, but being a good bro, being a good friend, knowing that my pals didn't have easy access to this stuff, hey, you guys want to see a porno? And of course they're going to say yes. Some of them said, yes, I've never seen one before.
Oh. Because you got to expose them to their first one? That's kind of fun.
It wasn't easily available back then.
Magazines were the same way back then, Ashley.
Yeah.
Where maybe you'd have 2, like a kid's dad would have a subscription or their uncle or something, and they'd be passed around all the boys in junior high or whatever.
That's so great.
Or like one kid would, get his hands on one from his dad, couldn't necessarily steal it, but he'd rip like a page out or something, and that page would get passed around.
Do you understand now? There were, when someone said in 1983, do you want to watch a porno? I would say to myself, yes, because I may not get another chance at this until 1984.
All right, that makes
so
some more sense.
So what were you saying now?
Yeah, I've never, outside of the first one where I was told we were going to watch a completely different movie, I've never watched porn, in a group, or it's not really my thing. And I really do think that's what, aside from the Catholic guilt, that particular movie turned me off from it forever. After seeing that, I could never watch it again. It disgusts me. But we were just saying yesterday how I had a buddy who used to draw custom porn pics because it just wasn't easy to get back in the late 80s and early 90s like it is today.
I can't imagine that. That's such
and it wasn't even porn either. Just getting your hands on a coveted VHS of like Showgirls or Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson was... that was gold.
You masturbated to the movie Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson? Good for you.
Thank you.
Crotch with Socks Jesus posted photos of or pages from Hustler magazine in an unused locker at school. I could see that like being the secret locker where everyone knows you got to go check that out.
Yeah.
Everybody passes around the combination.
It's like an 80s movie.
Here's a guy that texted in and says, I'm 60 years old. I never watched porn with my bros when we were kids. Well, then you didn't have very good bros. Or they didn't trust you to sit there and watch a porn. I don't know. I mean, for Christ's sake, we had to. We had to.
It's kind of mixed on folks saying, hey, it definitely is common, and folks saying, no, that's not common at all.
If you're 50 and older, it was common. If you're younger, then it probably wasn't, because you could go straight home to the internet.
There's, I told you before, in our dorm at Morehead State, the older kids, so when I was a freshman, the sophomores, and we were, our dorm was leveled by what age group you were. And so, freshmen at the bottom up to seniors. And the guys above us, the sophomores had a porn and spaghetti night every Friday night.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yes.
Every Friday night, it was the same thing, and no other classmen were invited. Only the sophomores in our dorm were allowed to go. And sometimes they'd invite folks from other dorms, and that thing got packed, but they did it religiously. I shouldn't maybe say religiously, consistently every Friday night.
Hell, I remember, and I can't explain this. Well, maybe I can. I remember at a lot of our high school parties, okay, I shouldn't say a lot. At some of our high school parties, it'd be all of us guys and all of our girlfriends, classmates, guys and girls standing around drinking, and there'd be a porno blaring on the television. I don't know why.
What?
I mean, again, maybe I think we just wanted to be bad, We wanted to show our classmates I don't know that we were just bad boys, I guess.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So there should be, why wouldn't there be hardcore porno blaring on the television while we're having a keg party? I don't know.
Joey says, group watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup for the first time. I've only seen the reaction videos where they're filming the people watching that video, and that was bad enough for me. I didn't need to see the rest. I still don't fully know what happened. I get the gist. But there's no way I could watch it.
Yeah, I don't need to ever see that either. I'm with you.
All right, so here's the deal. Again, a kid, high school kid in Taiwan. Last day of school. He comes out the school, and his parents have set up pole dancers to perform. This is his graduation party. Surprise! Pole dancers, not naked or anything, just pole dancers, are spinning round and round, and it created such a riot at the high school that the cops had to be called.
Are his parents separated and this is Dad's house?
I'll explain. I don't blame you for being curious right away, like, okay, what kind of parents would... You'll understand in a minute.
All right.
Hell, the pole dancers were spinning this way. They're spinning that way. They're dancing on the lids of motor vehicles. The parents that set this up made their kid get up on stage with the dancers. He was embarrassed as all hell. So you might be wondering, like Ashley, what motivated his folks to want to do this, especially right there at the school? Sounds to me like it was a case of cool mom syndrome.
Aww.
And we've all encountered the mostly embarrassing cool mom and dad bit. There are many levels of the cool mom and dad syndrome. We can get into that some other time, but this high school kid whose parents got him the pole dancers. His mom said, she was interviewed, I guess, by the local news. His mom said it was all her idea, and she said other parents organize various programs for their kids' graduation ceremony. I wanted ours to be more creative than theirs.
I hate her.
So it was all a self-serving type of a thing so she could win some imaginary competition with the other parents in town.
And now all the other high school boys think that she's the coolest mom ever, and I bet that just makes her so happy.
It's going to make her even more insufferable, is what it, yeah. So it was a cool mom syndrome thing.
Do you want to be the cool mom, Ashley?
No, there's no chance I'm going to be. He's going to think I'm a complete nerd.
Hey, do you want to go find some rocks with me, son?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you don't think you're going to be even though you started so early with the drinking and the street drugs, you don't think that you'll be lax on that with your children?
I think if anything, that's going to make me more strict because I know what I was doing and I don't want them doing what I was doing.
Okay.
Because I got out of that pretty much unscathed that time in my life when I was just a Neanderthal doing whatever I wanted to do. And I consider myself very lucky to have never had, I guess, an incident, never like be arrested, never get in serious trouble. So,
I mean, who knows what might happen? Of course, this is years down the road. All I'm saying is the friends of mine who came from a pretty loose background where their parents allowed them to drink, allowed them to smoke grass, allowed them to have sex, you know, in their own home even, you know, like bring your girlfriend. Oh, if you two are going to have sex, you can do it in the house. Here's what I'm saying. The folks that I know that were raised that way kind of did the same thing with their kids.
Really?
We're very loose about drinking and smoking and carrying on.
This conversation actually came up not too long ago because I learned that when my fiance was in high school, he had a girlfriend in high school, and she would like sleep over all the time. Like
Yeah.
he would with the door shut.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I'm like, that is not happening in this household. That is not happening in my house.
A gal I dated many years ago, and she was a great gal, and her family was wonderful. Her youngest brother was like a 10th grader, and his girlfriend spent the night every damn night.
Wow.
No.
That wouldn't have flown in our house.
I don't want to be helping my child raise a baby when they're 16 years old.
That's how my wife was. Her mom never made her, have a guy leave in the evening. They could stay over, door closed, everything.
You know, it brings me back to a fun conversation that me and some friends had when we were about 21 or 22. A bunch of dudes, bunch of Czechs. And the Czechs got all deep on us. They started talking about when they have children, And And I don't know if we dudes were all that excited about the conversation, but what are you going to do? So one of the gals said something like, I'd like to be a young mother because I'd like to still be able to physically show my kids how to do. And another gal said, well, I'd like to have 3 children, so the middle one would. So they're making all these deep comments. So the vibe was deep. My buddy Hot Tub decided to chime in, and Hot Tub says, I want to be a young dad. And of course, since the vibe was deep, everyone kind of looked to him, even though he was Hot Tub. Everyone kind of looked to him, wondering, well, where is he going to go with this? Does he want to be a young dad because he wants to teach his... Hot Tub says, yeah, I want to be a young dad, so, when they get to be in high school, I'm not too old to get wasted with them.
Of course.
All right, so wrapping up this story of the kid whose parents got him a pole dancer or pole dancers, here's a word from the lucky kid. He said he was left speechless, but he didn't fight it. He said, considering my parents' intentions, I chose not to object.
Bold.
Not everybody thought this bit was appropriate, school officials included. But, F them. The kid's out of school now. They can kiss his ass.
They didn't spare any expense on those ladies either. They got the good ones.
Were they hot?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But they never got naked.
Well, no, I only saw still photos. And none of the stories said they got naked.
Yes.
But I showed Ashley the kid with the hands over. Was that just timing for the photo, or was that on
Yeah, he's hiding it 100%.
Because it was very much over his crotch.
Yes.
And he's standing right next to that, too.
Just do an uptuck, man. Come on.
Well, maybe he doesn't understand that bit yet. You'd think by high school you would know the uptuck, but, some kids are sheltered. We got to take a break. We'll be back with sports.
Right now in the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, text the word RUM, R-U-M, to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the 93X Hams Booze Cruise this Friday on Stillwater Riverboats. Prize provided by Warner's Dock and Red Wing Shoes. This contest keyword is good through Thursday, June 26th at 11:59 p.m.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm very excited to share this moment with you guys. It's always been a dream of mine to have my own children's book. And today, that dream finally comes true. My debut book, Better Than a Touchdown. With this book, I'm excited to extend some of my lessons learned throughout my journey to the next generation and encourages our kids to believe in themselves. I hope you guys enjoy. Go Birds.
How many days away are we now from Jalen Hurts' birthday? I haven't gotten
44.
enough. Are you sure?
44 positive.
Thank you, Josh. 44 days away from Jalen Hurts' birthday, the MVP of last year's Super Bowl.
Your favorite quarterback and now your favorite author, perhaps?
The starting quarterback for my favorite NFL team, Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles. He wrote a new children's book. Yeah, he may end up being my favorite author. What children's book that you read when you were little do you still remember? I can answer the question. It was called Kick, Pass, and Run. It was a book about football.
Oh, yeah, I read that one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's
Kick,
so
Pass,
many.
and Run.
Yeah, there's
Especially
a lot.
because I just got a bunch of books.
See, the list is not
Baby on
long
the
for
Way.
me. Not long. That's the one that stands out.
Did you read any of the Shel Silverstein stuff?
yeah.
Sure.
The Giving Tree, A Light in the Attic.
Yeah.
Where do the sidewalk ends?
They made us read a couple of those. The sidewalk thing rings a bell. The ones you said out loud do not ring a bell. Who was Super Fudge?
Oh,
is that
Judy Blume?
Judy Blume,
Okay,
yeah.
Oh, Judy Blume.
But for me, Kick, Pass, and Run will be, I read it 15, 20 times.
I just got a really cool children's book. Actually, I got 2 of them. It's titled Go the F to Sleep.
Oh, that's a good one.
Really? So you know what it is?
Oh, yeah. And Samuel L. Jackson, he read that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, meaning he did like an audio book version of that.
Oh, that's cool.
This is something you read to a kid to get him to go to sleep?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, man.
50 Shades of Grey, I remember that as a little kid.
Oh, man.
Of course.
Really enjoying that one.
I'll never forget the line at the movie theater for 50 Shades of Grey. It doesn't matter what movie I was going to see, but when that sumbitch opened, 50 Shades of Grey, I went to a theater to see something else, and I was asking whoever I was with at the time, what in God's name is going on here? There was a line of middle-aged women outside the building into the parking lot. And I said, what is this? And she said, this is the line for 50 Shades of By Damn Woo Mean Gene Gray. Couldn't believe my eyes. Everyone's mom and aunt wanted to get into the theater to see. The Twins are miserable. We got a Twins update coming up in a half hour. Don't go anywhere. Josh's News is coming up next.
93X
Half-assed morning show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
We're throwing open the metaphorical closet doors of our lives. We're going to be cleaning out the closet. What no longer fits? Audit some of your relationships. How about auditing your emotions? Maybe it's your career you need to look at. Get your life together for this season.
The Ed Milet Show.
It's time for a little cleaning of the soul. Let's get a little ruthless, a little refreshing, and a little real. God bless you, everyone.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse.
93X rocks.
Oh, Lord, please.
93X.
I was terrified. I mean, we have the 3-year-old with us. You truly never know where stuff like that's going to end up. You don't know who's watching.
One of the cameras, disguised as a pen, was spotted at 11 a.m. Thursday by a 34-year-old woman. Then, weeks later, they discovered more. A woman said she noticed a camera tucked behind a trash can in a family restroom. There's a pen on the floor in the bathroom. Already kind of odd, she said. She was in a restroom with her best friend and young child. Trusting her gut, she took a closer look and decided to take the device apart. I unscrewed it, saw a little charger port and an SD card inside. I held the button on the pen. It turned off. That's when we realized it was a camera, she said. It's still unclear how long the camera had been there or how many people may have been targeted. And while police haven't said how many victims they've found, they did find the creep behind the camera, and he's been arrested.
This was at a restaurant or something?
This was at I forgot already, a bus station.
At the bus station?
Hold on, let me look that up. For some reason, I took a whole paragraph out of here. But
well, man, usually there's nothing but upstanding citizens at the bus station.
Well, it's New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Not a bus station, the Ocean City Boardwalk.
Oh, even worse.
Usually there's nothing but classy people at the Ocean City Boardwalk.
Well, there are, but then there's also people that come from elsewhere that want to watch them go potty, apparently, and that was the case here.
Going potty.
If you want to watch someone go potty, there's plenty of willing people on the internet that will let you watch them go potty.
Totally
it's not
agree.
the same on the internet.
It's not pure, not authentic.
At a famed street music festival in France, which drew record crowds Saturday night, more than 140 revelers reported being stuck with syringes. Authorities quickly poked around the scene, arresting 12 pricks in connection with the needle incidents at the annual nationwide festival, drawing millions.
What do these people have now? What disease do they have?
Well, they're still checking that out.
Oh.
They said there was especially dense crowds packing the streets of Paris, where they got most of them.
That's awful.
The French Interior Ministry confirmed 145 people across the country reported being stabbed with needles. They haven't said whether the incidents involved so-called needle spiking with the date rape drug, an alarming trend previously reported in the UK and other European countries.
I started screaming and then throwing up and going unconscious and coming back round, and it was just this horrible cycle.
Disturbingly, social media posts had circulated ahead of the French event, urging attacks on women during the celebrations.
Urging attacks?
Yes. In addition to the syringe cases, police detained more than 370 people for various other offenses during that festival.
I'm sorry, but who was urging these attacks?
Somebody on the internet.
Someone on the internet.
If you find them,
how
let
could
cops
you do
know.
that? How could you do that to someone?
I don't know. There's
That is so terrifying.
awful folks out there, and it's enough that it was in a bunch of different areas.
You're just minding your own business, and next thing you know, you got a needle in your arm.
Yeah,
Oh.
and then just terrifyingly not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, I would assume that I was done for.
You're given a horrible disease or something. A 26-year-old California man with a name that suggests his parents were also idiots has been found guilty of a deadly stabbing, sadly, in the last moments of 2024. A jury found no name given Happy guilty of a New Year's Eve stabbing at the Fat Pheasant pub in Windham, Minnesota. Tragically, a 30-year-old died in that attack. 2 others treated for stab wounds.
Cottonwood County jury finding 26-year-old no name given Happy of San Diego, California, guilty on 2 of the 6 charges against him, including second-degree murder without intent and terroristic threats.
Even the anchor couldn't believe the name.
He did this in Windham.
Yes. No name given Happy is expected to be sentenced later this summer.
Just exhausted. Oh, all right.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about that guy.
Nations have been split by politics. Friendships strained over whether an infamous dress is blue and black or white and gold. Workplace tensions ignited by the hot dog as a sandwich debate. Yet for all our modern quarrels, Yanny or Laurel as cereal soup, flat earth theories, and even the does a straw have 1 or 2 hole debate, no angry disagreements rival the catalyst of melee for millennia, religion. Case in point, a bar argument about Jesus near Michigan City's lakefront in Indiana took a truly turn of biblical proportions, ending in a brawl and an arrest. According to police, several patrons at Mady's told officers 24-year-old Blake Schreiber was being verbally aggressive, apparently looking to pick a fight with anyone who didn't share his views on Jesus. When the staff announced closing time, he got into a heated exchange with the bartender before being escorted outside, where he pedaled off on a bicycle. But the ride didn't last long. Police say he soon ditched the bike, walked up to a group in the parking lot and asked, "Who wants some?" Somebody did. Peace was quickly abandoned for punches, and the scene devolved from fellowship to fisticuffs as he began evangelizing with elbows. By the time officers arrived, he had a man in an unholy headlock. He was combative with officers, so they placed restraints around his wrists and ankles. Along with a collection of commandments broken, he was booked on charges including battery to a public official, disorderly conduct, and public intoxication.
This guy wanted to fight in the name of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know what side he was on or his specific beliefs, but you better agree with him. Otherwise, he's going to try and knock you out.
Doesn't he know you don't talk politics and religion at the friggin' bar?
Well, some people, that's what they like to do, and he was one of them. This one's a bit strange, even by Florida man standards. A 44-year-old ditched the old ball and chain for a pair of handcuffs after breaking into a random house and camping out for several days just to avoid his wife. On June 9th, police got a call from a neighbor who'd been keeping an eye on the place. When officers walked in, they found the man whipping up some dinner and about to enjoy a nice, luxurious bath. We assumed the bath temperature was not too hot, not too cold, but just right, the department quipped, tipping their hats to Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
Oh, sure.
The man freely admitted he didn't know the homeowners and agreed he definitely didn't have permission to be there, explaining he had a fight with his wife 4 days earlier and decided the random house was the safest place to lay low. Now, for trying to avoid his angry bride, he faces felony charges, which for him was totally worth it. 4 days it took her to calm down. Well, I don't even know if she calmed down. He got busted before he went back home.
He couldn't come up with anywhere better than that to go?
No. They didn't have money for a hotel, I guess? No buddies that could have?
Yeah.
That's a guy. You're right, Josh. That's a guy who's got no bros.
Mm-hmm. I've hosted plenty of bros who have been on the outs with their wives over the years. Yeah, I can't imagine he's in such a desperate situation. He's like, I got to break into this house.
This guy, he ain't all there.
I can't deal with her. A wayward chicken crossed the road and ended up at the front door of someplace most poultry would rather avoid, Buffalo Wild Wings. The poor, confused bird was scooped up by the Animal Rescue League of Iowa at a Des Moines location at the popular restaurant. What the cluck? Talk about a chicken on the wrong side of the road, the group wrote on Facebook.
Oh, stop it.
The rescue group used the bird's close call with the fryer to promote its chicken adoption program. A better fate for a chicken than being battered, deep fried, and dipped in one of the chain's 21 signature sauces.
Rescuers say that she's now safe and is getting the care that she needs, but she was just sitting there by the door saying, hey, let me in.
As for naming the now famous chicken, one team member suggested the name be Chosis, a mashup of chicken and Moses. In the end, the chicken dodged the fate of the roughly 2 billion chickens the chain goes through every year, or about 2.4 million chickens a day.
Man.
I think I could have lived without knowing those numbers. That kind of makes me sad.
You don't like to know?
It's not going to stop you from getting wings, though, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the one bird got saved, actually.
I think if I was on my way to B-Dubs and I was walking in and then I saw a chicken by the door, I would take that as a sign. Like, maybe I shouldn't eat chicken today.
Let's go eat a dead cow instead.
Yeah, let's go find the
No way. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to get a salad now.
And then those cows on the Chick-fil-A billboards are going to be kind of pissed. This is a rivalry that you're just starting right now, Ashley. In wayward rooster news, an uncircumspect cock entered a condom store. We can get to that one later. New details are out about what led to a deadly small plane crash in North Carolina. According to a preliminary NTSB report, the pilot of a Stinson 108, which crashed at Sugar Valley Airport in Mocksville, had been warned about a turtle on the runway and was attempting to avoid it. A quick-eyed communications operator spotted the slowpoke reptile and radioed the 64-year-old pilot. The report said the plane touched down, then the pilot attempted to dodge the determined little traveler.
The pilot tried to avoid it by lifting the right main wheel. Witnesses say the movement caused the plane's wings to rock back and forth and then crash.
Oh, come on!
Meanwhile, a man mowing grass at the end of the runway saw the same thing. The wheel lift, the wings rock, and the plane take off again. Moments later, though, a crash and columns of smoke.
People died?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no. I didn't know that part. Oh.
God dang.
I said deadly small plane crash.
I guess I missed that.
I meant people, not turtles, and that unfortunately. All this comes just months after a rabbit hopped its way into a United Airlines airplane, sparking a fire and emergency landing. It went through the engine. And according to the FAA, wildlife strikes are adding up this year, more than 20,000 so far. Most of them birds.
That turtle better go on to do some impressive things with its life.
Let's hope so.
They probably just went and tried to cross a road and then got hit by a car or something.
I mean, Cubby, if we're on roller skates, I would encourage you to just run over the turtle. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know.
For fear of a twisted ankle or a skinned knee. And this guy dodged a turtle with his airplane?
Would that have affected his landing, though, if he ran over the turtle?
Well, they say he lifted the tire and the wings got squirrely, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, I don't know what that would have done to a small plane.
Yeah.
But, yeah, obviously terrible outcome there.
Wouldn't you run over the turtle?
I would think I would.
And you like them?
I do like turtles. Out of respect, I didn't play the drop, but yes, I do. I can't imagine. I would think you'd just go right through it, but, yeah, I don't know. The unluckiest jogger, the air traffic controller did bring it up.
Yeah, so I wonder if there's a reason for that.
I don't know.
They're like, hey, this is going to mess you up if you try to land.
Maybe somebody in the airline industry can let us know.
Dude.
The unluckiest jogger in Missouri had a rough run after a bizarre car crash in downtown St. Louis last week, which ended with them being struck by a flying fire hydrant. The crash happened about 7 p.m. Thursday, where, in a feat of some freakish physics, a piece of the hydrant went sailing through the air and hit the poor runner a full block away. Should have picked up the pace.
Drivers downtown are crazy, especially on those streets. Like, nobody stops at any of the lights, and they always drive the wrong way on the one-ways.
A spokesperson for the St. Louis Fire Department said the jogger, who was blindsided mid-stride, was taken to the hospital in serious condition. So far, no word on any others being injured. Again, it was a whole block away. They must have hit that thing hard.
Hit by a fire hydrant, man.
Just out of nowhere. Cold-cocked.
That's got to be it for you.
I hope he had the mindset to save a piece of it, as a little souvenir.
Yeah, I think they did. Like, they just kept a little part in their kidney.
I don't think the guy has any kind of a mindset just yet.
Yeah,
he's fresh off a noggin shot from a effing fire hydrant.
Two off-duty St. Paul police officers nabbed a not-so-smooth suspected carjacker after he crashed a hot car, then added gunfire to a fender bender. About 9:20 p.m., cops got a call about a carjacking. A man said he was sitting in his vehicle when another man walked up, pulled a gun, and demanded the keys. The driver gave up the car and called 911. 9 minutes later, police were called to Kellogg and Robert Street for a crash. The carjacker, behind the wheel of the stolen ride, had rear-ended two other cars. He hopped out and started firing shots, then bolted. Not long after, two off-duty cops, still in uniform and fresh off an overtime shift, rolled up in an unmarked vehicle. They spotted the guy, who promptly aimed his gun at them. The officers hit reverse to create some distance, looped back, jumped out, and told him to drop the weapon. He did, but then he ran. The off-duty officers, however, were faster. They gave chase and brought him down with a taser. Now the 29-year-old suspect has a new address, 425 Grove Street, the Ramsey County Jail. Luckily, no bullets found their mark, though one person was banged up from the collision. From the world of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, comes a new hero, Ironheart, now streaming on Disney+. A young genius inventor builds the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. Also streaming today, A Dream Vacation goes very, very crappy. An engine fire leaves 4,000 people stranded at sea, no power, no plumbing, and no way out. The unbelievable true story of the 2013 Poop Cruise.
I can't wait for this.
Trainwreck Poop Cruise is streaming now on Netflix.
Dude, I forgot that happened. That's so ridiculous.
Remember, diarrhea was running down the walls.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
I remember you breaking that story many, many years ago.
So gross. Mindy Kaling from The Office is 46 today. RoboCop, a.k.a. Peter Weller, 78. Good luck to back to stay-at-home dad Jesus, about to go under for some hernia surgery.
Yeah.
Good luck with your recovery there, homeboy. Happy birthday to Ben, a.k.a. Bitch Nips Jesus. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
He's a pay-per-view turd. On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, Cal Raleigh annihilates another one. He has homered in 4 consecutive games for the first time in his big league career. An exclamation mark on a monster night for the Mariners.
All right, we've got company. We have plenty of company. Here's old Randy Shaver on the line. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning.
Plus, Janel Klein and C. Willi Myles. What's up, handsome people?
Morning.
Good morning.
Off to a great start.
Well, it's real easy. They both forgot to turn on their microphones.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
I was just taken aback when you said handsome. I was trying to let that sink in.
Janel Klein knows that our garbage studios are bone-chilling cold. She brought in her oversized Concordia University sweatshirt to wear.
I told Dana I've never seen you, Janelle, in something so relaxed. I like the look.
Thanks. I dug it out of my trunk right now in the parking lot.
Everybody's got to have an emergency Concordia sweatshirt in their trunk.
That's right.
Because she knows that the garbage studios, the temperature is wildly unpredictable. Is it not, Josh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just going to say, I hope you brought a tank top because it'll get crazy warm in here.
Within about 45 minutes, it will be so hot in here you won't be able to stand it. So, yeah, I bet this is kind of what you wore when you were sitting around watching TV in college, the oversized sweatshirt.
Pretty much. And you know what's funny? So my mom went here, Concordia College in Moorhead. That's her alma mater. So this thing has to be, how many years old do you think?
Wait a minute. Your mother wore that?
Well, she didn't wear it, but it was hers at one point. So it's very old.
Well,
did they have the beanie tradition back then? Has your mom ever talked about that?
I think so, yeah.
Because when I went to Moorhead State, we'd see the Concordia kids, and they all had these beanies on.
Yes.
And I was told that's a tradition at that school.
The beanie and the class ring. Like, they have this famous class ring, so she has that, too.
They wore a beanie on their heads?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a freshman thing or what.
I don't remember.
Well, your sweatshirt says Concordia 81.
Yeah. She graduated long before 81.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Randy Shaver, that was right when you were in your early 20s. Did you ever make a road trip to Concordia to get some new stuff or what?
No, actually, I was busy at Iowa State doing my thing.
Yeah? Wow. You guys never road trip to Concordia?
I have never been there.
Soon enough, see Willi Myles, it will be blazing hot in this studio. I'm warning both of you. It's the weirdest effing thing. We freeze I think right away it's
freezing when we get
freezing
here.
when we get here by the end of the show. I was in 2 of the last 4 or 5 days, I've ended up in a tank top. So just brace yourself.
I'm kind of surprised you guys haven't been able to figure out the temperature for Ashley, because I'm sure she's like, it's got to be a certain temp.
She's a mess.
Oh, Randy, yesterday during the opening break, I was waiting for either Nick or Josh to call me out because I was dripping sweat.
I didn't even notice that.
I was trying to hide. I had like a little piece of tissue. I was like wiping the corners of my face. I was trying to hide the fact that I was sweating
I'm sure
so
the
bad.
temperatures really get to you.
There's also a moment in between where you're going to start to sweat, you guys, but your hands are still going to be frozen.
Right.
This place is very odd in so many ways.
It's so true.
All right, Glenn Perkins is still out of town. Normally on Tuesdays we wrap with Glenn. Glenn is not.
What's he going to say about this?
That's why he decided not to join.
Right, he saw it coming.
He's not out of town.
Just because Glenn isn't around, that doesn't mean we can't all be miserable together through a fresh Minnesota Twins report, which is brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seats in the house with Xfinity. It's gotten to the point now where it's almost unbearable.
Here are the losses: 17-6 to the Brewers, 9-0 to the Brewers, 9-8, and 11-2 to the Mariners. And that's after they lost to Texas 16-4,
right,
16-3, and to the Astros 10-3. This stretch of baseball over the last 2 weeks has been unbelievably bad.
Now I'm going to morph into Brad Ryder here real quick and say, who was the guy who after game 1 of that Texas series said out loud and into a microphone,
Yes,
I
you
said,
did.
this feels like the beginning of some miserable times, and that's exactly what it's been. 11-2 last night. And I mean, it's almost impossible to watch.
2 wins in that stretch since that loss to Texas. That's it. 2 wins. And they have plummeted all the way to 4th place in the division. There was a time, if you remember, we were touting this division and how good the top 4 teams were. And now Cleveland's barely over 500. The Tigers are running away with everything. But the Royals and the Twins have just bottomed out. And it's we're halfway through the regular season. I mean, this is danger time for the Twins. And if you're thinking about attendance numbers and those kind of things as an organization, this is not where you want to be at this point.
No, and I bet I'm the only one who even tuned into the game last night. Anybody else watch the Twins last night?
Nope.
Did not. No.
Right.
How'd you watch them, out of curiosity?
On my television?
You have Twins TV?
I think so.
I assume the TV, but I was wondering how you streamed it.
I don't really know what channel it is, Josh. I have to be totally honest with you.
That's your wife that gets that going?
Yeah, she knows all about what channels we have. I just punch that button until I see the Twins, and then I. But exactly. So I mean, I made it through 3 innings. After the 3rd inning, it was 6-0, and I left.
Right.
That's not what the Twins want to hear. There's only one person on the program. I mean, and this is it matches, I think, what folks are doing anywhere else. There's probably only 1 out of 10 people who are even tuning into that friggin' ball club anymore.
You just read the misery the next morning.
Right. Roastmaster Jesus texted in already and said, how much longer until they fire the head coach of the Twins? Well, number one, Roastmaster Jesus, it's a manager, not a head coach.
And he was just given a vote of confidence and an extension. So that's not, and I don't think it's his fault. I mean, there are some issues out there that I was reading on social media that there's some grumblings now. The players aren't, preparing the way maybe some of the veteran players think they should. There's some, rumblings about just how, everybody's, their outlook towards trying to get out of this slump. But, Rocco's been dealing with what he's got. They've had injuries. The pitching has just been bad. And a lot of that has been young pitchers trying to figure things out. And it's just like a snowball going down the hill, right?
Yeah.
It's just going fast. And there's just not a lot right now that people are able to do.
Josh played you the audio there in the intro, that Cal Raleigh dude. hit another dong.
Told you about him the other day.
He hit his major league leading 32nd home run last night. It was one of 4 dongs the Mariners showed out last night.
I wonder what the record is for home runs before an All-Star break. I got to believe it's probably 40.
That should be easy to look up. Dana, what are you doing over there?
Or something like
Looking that up?
Yeah. Most home runs by the All-Star break. See what you got. Brian Wu, the Mariners starter Brian Wu, went, I don't know how many innings, but he did well.
7.
Shouldn't come as any surprise, but it's Barry Bonds hit 39 by the All-Star break in 2001.
Okay. So that's the record, 39.
So he's got, what, 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, he's got about 2 weeks. He won't, I don't know if he'll get there, but he's on pace to have a great year for sure.
Well, Jesus balls, yeah. He's got 32 friggin' home runs, and June isn't over yet.
A bunch of other guys have had 37 before the All-Star break, including Mark McGwire, Reggie Jackson, and most recently Chris Davis in 2013.
Chris Davis. So it's just...
Didn't expect that name in that sentence, did you?
Well, the guy either hit a home run or he struck out. That was his thing. 14 losses out of the last 17 ball games. You were telling us about this yesterday. Since losing Pablo Lopez, and they lumped Zebby Matthews into this as, I mean, kind of...
Yeah, that's not fair.
Not really fair to lump Zebby Matthews.
Yeah.
Since losing Pablo Lopez in early June, the Twins have allowed 133 runs in 17 games. That's an average of 7.8 runs per game. They're going to go ahead with tonight's game, as far as I know. And Chris Paddock will be on the bump. Now, I read that Royce Lewis is doing much better than folks
Might be
expected
off the IL
him.
this week. Yeah.
And I thought we originally heard he wouldn't be back till after the All-Star game.
That's what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that does anything for anybody.
Well, I mean, obviously they could use the guy's bat. That's for sure.
Of course.
So.
Well, all I can say is that they need to hurry up and start winning the games because my mother-in-law keeps making cookies and stuff, man. And I can't keep eating this stuff.
Why does she make cookies
she
when
gets
she's
so mad? Oh, I'm gonna go bake some cookies.
Oh, that's like her therapy, make her feel better.
Yes,
we got some texts already concerned about your mother-in-law's well-being, being the Twins fan she is, and also suggesting maybe she needs to go down there and grab some ears and tell them what's going on with her.
She did that last year, man. She went to the game and got to meet all these people, and
man, I wish every time. I wish every time someone close to me was angry, they would bake for me. That would be all right.
Awesome.
Next time I come in, I'll bring you a pail of bars and cookies. I mean, she is.
Oh, I bet she's a good baker.
Oh my God, she's so good. But she does it angry, and they're still good.
The people in my life just turn to booze, man. I would love some chocolate chip cookies.
She's 95, got a bad hip. Drop foot, she can't drink no more.
She has a drop foot?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Drop foot. When you're walking, all of a sudden it's just what it sounds like. You have no control over your
just kind of drag it.
Okay.
It drags.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Josh, have you heard about a drop foot before?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound like a very comfortable
But she
situation.
gets around. She's 95.
All right.
She's been through worse.
All right, maybe this will help you. The Twins claimed a right-handed pitcher from the Miami Marlins yesterday by the name of Connor Gillespie.
Okay.
Not exciting.
Send him right down to AAA St. Paul Saints. So
as soon as I'm out of here today, I'm going to the Twins Pro Shop and getting his jersey.
Wow.
Whenever we talk about Twins pitching issues, we get texts about Trevor Bauer.
Yes.
I saw he got shelled recently in whatever league he's playing in.
Yeah, that's the news on him.
Some people are just trying to start trouble. Others are being serious that the Twins should call Trevor Bauer. And Dana's right. He's pitching in the Japanese Professional League. He swears he's still one of the best starting pitchers on the planet. What did he say not that long ago? He said there are like 20 hitters on the planet that are true competition for me. I steamroll the rest of them. That's a direct quote from Trevor Bauer while he's pitching in Japan. He also said he's the biggest star in baseball outside of Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, my God.
What's wrong with him?
What's it like to be that delusional?
He's very confident.
He's a complete whackbag.
What drugs does he do?
He's totally out of his mind. Well, the other day, just to pad his stats, he pitched on short rest against the worst team in the Japanese league And in one inning, they put 7 runs and 8 hits up on him.
Wow.
That didn't work.
But still, I'm sure he'll be able to put a twist on that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always other people that don't get him.
Right.
Never him.
And one final Twins note. The Twins bosses say that selling at the trade deadline is, quote, not at all their focus right now. Selling at the trade deadline. When it's looking more and more like that might be their only option. Joan Duran, the closer. I bet you a lot of teams like his style.
Yeah, they've got some players that could. I mean, if Correa's contract wasn't so high, I think he'd be there. Ty France for sure is going to be someone at the trade deadline. Maybe even Bader. Maybe France. Bader.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking at veteran players, and I hate to say it, but Buxton might be a possibility too. So.
Yeah, no, I've read that. I've read that Buck is an option or a possibility, and I don't like that kind of talk, but I understand the situation that they are in. Our Twins update brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports on the best seat in the house with Xfinity, and we thank them for their sponsorship. Yeah, I'm sure Trevor Bauer can put some kind of spin on his recent performance in the Japanese Baseball League to where this was not, how do I say this, Josh? His poor performance was not a reflection of his skill level.
No, somebody gave him some bad advice in the dugout or something.
He'll blame the mound or something.
Or he just won't bring it up at all. He just won't bring it up because it reminds me of a friend of mine. One of my friends is one of these goofball conspiracy theorists. How do you say that, Josh?
Theorist.
He's always predicting the end of the world. He's been doing this for about 7 or 8 years now. Oh. And he'll tell you, well, this is it. It's all over. This is going to happen and that's going to happen. Get into your bomb shelter, whatever. This is it, right? And then nothing happens. But yet, 2 weeks later, he'll make this prediction all over again, and he still expects us to take him seriously. Right. You see what I mean?
I kind of hope he's right one day.
And if you ever...
There are some signs.
Says the mother-to-be.
Well, Christ, Ashley, if you play the odds, eventually he's going to be correct. Yeah. But this is hundreds of times he's done it. If you ever ask him, well, what about the last time when you predicted it and nothing happened? He just won't even answer that question. He just ignores it.
Never happened.
I'd imagine he's probably one of those guys. There's people that take those big swings, right? And then anytime they're right, on the off chance they're right, or maybe they're right more than an off chance, they will remind you over and over and over again. But all the other times they're wrong, never bring it up.
Right. Mm-hmm. If he's even right about one of the details, hell, he wants a victory parade. But when he's wrong...
This was supposed to happen in 1980. It was supposed to happen in 2000.
Right.
Like everybody's saying the same thing, and they're like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna be outside. I want to die with most of the people. I don't want to be around with you morons."
Mm-hmm. Medical device Jesus said Trevor Bauer releases 40 to 60-minute vlogs to explain everything that goes on with him, and usually he'll blame an injury for whatever it is.
Oh, God. It's my elbow.
Also, who's taking the time to watch 40 to 50-minute Trevor Bauer vlogs? God. Go outside, man.
That is sad.
It was my manicurist. She didn't file my nail down soon enough. So,
you know, Dana,
my slider wasn't sliding.
That's my greatest fear for this doomsday theory that my buddy always dumps on us. Mm-hmm. That it's finally going to come, and I'm down in my bomb shelter, and the only channel I can get on the internet is a Trevor Bauer vlog.
The Trevor Bauer live feed.
That's my worst.
I love it.
In other baseball news, the New York Metropolitans have signed a pitcher that some say this guy's hauling around the best name in big league history. Now, I disagree, but some say this is the best name in baseball history. A left-handed relief pitcher by the name of Dickie Lovelady.
Okay.
What do you think, Janelle?
Is that real?
Yes, it is.
It's a nickname.
He pitched for Toronto.
Like his real name is Richard?
His real name is Richard.
Yes.
Why would his parents do that?
Well,
because it's awesome.
It's funny how it doesn't dawn on some people.
Tick Lovelady.
It doesn't dawn on some people.
Love it.
Richard is the name his mama gave him. But from what I understand, as of recently, I think so many people have been calling him Dick Lovelady or Dickie Lovelady that he's given up now. He's given up on the Richard thing and just he's what do they call it? Leaning into it.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Anytime this happens, I imagine it's some type of family name. And so that's why they did it. They're like, it is bad, but, Grandpa Richard would have loved this.
He's dead, though. He's dead.
Yeah, he doesn't have to deal with the fallout from it.
Some of you might have heard of him because he's been around for a while. He's no kid. Mm-hmm. He actually pitched in the Twins system for an hour and a half or something, Richard Lovelady. But now he's Dickie.
So when he was here, was he Richard?
Yes, I believe he was.
Okay.
But I bet his teammates immediately started calling him.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's what I thought he said. It was teammates just kept calling him Dickie, so that's why he decided, all right, fine, that's who I am now.
Dick bullied into changing your name.
I mean, it's a cute name.
It is.
But if you want to be considered the greatest and funniest name in baseball history, you got to go through some bitches first. You got to go through. You got to go through Johnny Dickshot.
Yep.
On God, Ashley.
I never heard that one before.
Well, of course, it's baseball, so some of these go back to 1806. For Christ's sake.
Yep.
Now you tell me, C. Willi Myles, Johnny Dickshot also had he also had a nickname, and his nickname was Ugly.
Right.
So would you rather be Johnny Dickshot or Ugly Dickshot?
You gotta go with Johnny, man.
Yeah, Johnny's much
Johnny
better.
Dickshot, that's... You don't want to be an ugly dick shot, man.
Can you find a picture of him, maybe, Josh? I mean, was he just ass ugly?
Yeah, he was pretty homey looking.
Oh, really?
Homely looking.
I don't think he's that bad.
And, your athletes...
I think it's the nose.
Athletes are merciless.
Yeah, he's got a schnoz on him, Ashley.
In their ball busting. Does he got a horn on him?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
It's not long, but it's wide. Very wide.
As far as I can go.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he ain't the prettiest guy in the world.
I would never look at him and say he's ugly.
A little bit of a beak on him, but anyway. Ugly Dickshot.
Ugly? I mean, he's not that bad. I mean, Seal is ugly.
Seal?
Why Seal catching strays?
The singer?
What?
Yeah, have you seen him?
Oh, I mean, 25 years ago.
He's still ugly.
Oh. Has he gotten uglier?
No,
What did Seal do to you?
I don't think you can get any uglier than that.
Oh, my God.
Did you run into him backstage sometime, C. Willie?
I
You got
did.
beef with Seal?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right.
Did you see what I see?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not a scary dude, but if I didn't know who he was, I'd cross the street.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a talented guy. You can't look like Seal and not be talented to date or marry Heidi Klum.
That's what I'm saying. What was she looking at?
If you want to be considered the greatest, funniest name in baseball history, you got to go through Johnny Dickshot. You got to go through Dick Pole. You got to go through Ed Head. Rusty Kuntz.
Oof.
That's
You couldn't even say
That's
that.
a sketchy one, yeah.
At one point.
You got to go through Cannonball Titcomb. You got to go through Pickles Dillhofer. And for damn sure, you got to go through Pete LaCock if you want to be considered the funniest.
That's right. That's right.
Wasn't there like a Charlie Furbush or something like that?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
And we're just talking baseball.
Yeah. And there was a McNutt in there somewhere.
McNutt.
Oh, my God.
Janel McNutt. Maybe you'll marry into the McNutt family.
Oh, okay, I found one. This one sounds like it could be on the Urban Dictionary. The Urban Shocker. Urban Shocker.
Oh, right. Yeah. There was a dude named Urban Shocker.
That's a regular shocker taken up a notch.
Janelle, if you married into the McNutt family, would you start a conversation with them about maybe you keeping your real name or your maiden name?
Probably.
Or at least hyphenate it, like if you married Jack Glasscock. Klein Glasscock.
You'd have to act like your last name meant so much to you that the thought of changing it would crush you.
Maybe he'd want to take your name.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you just give it an alternate pronunciation where if somebody doesn't read it, they'll never know.
But how do you alternately Owns McNutt.
McNutt? I don't know.
Yeah, you church that up.
McNutt.
I don't know how, our sound guy makes the fancy intros. Janel Klein on the 93, that whole gimmick. Which
Right.
I wonder if he could even get through it if you were Janelle Lecoq. I don't know if he'd be able to get through it.
That's a hard C, sir. Both of them.
Maybe I don't know what you'd do with it. All right, this is really interesting now. At least I found this interesting yesterday. Back to the referee-assisted championship that the Oklahoma City Thunder won a couple nights ago. I did not watch any of their post-game stuff. As soon as the game was over, I changed the channel because I did not want to watch the Oklahoma City Thunder celebrate their world. A lot of folks have been popping off on the godless, soulless, and wildly misinformed social media about how subdued their championship celebration was. Here are what some people are saying. Game 7 of the NBA Finals came just a few days after Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Oilers and Florida Panthers. Comparisons were immediately drawn between the two championship clubs, with fans noticing how much more muted the Oklahoma City Thunder's celebrations were compared to the Panthers. One of the tweets I read said, "The NBA in general confuses me. Both closeout games were pretty big blowouts, and they were in Game 6 and 7. The Panthers acted like this was the first time they've ever won a hockey game in their lives. The Thunder made it seem like they have 4 more games to play. It was a fascinating difference."
You can see these comparison videos on 93x.com. They're really interesting when they're laid out in front of you.
They must have made a conscious decision. Somebody in their locker room must have said, hey, if we win this pig, let's not be the riotous, champagne spraying.
Act like you've been there before kind of thing?
I don't know, because it is odd that it looked very different than 99% of championship celebrations that I've watched. So I'm not sure what to make of it.
I think half of their team is underage, so can't say. No, they're a young club.
Joke,
they're a young club. They're all old enough to drink.
I guess I would say that there is a maturity level with OKC that you don't see very often in a young team.
Yep.
They play like a veteran squad in the sense that they don't turn the ball over. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They are not very emotional.
Some of the guys were crying when the game was over.
No, but what I'm saying is during the game, they don't get overly emotional. During the game. They follow their coach's lead. He's not that way at all. I just think that there's certain things about them. And I guess the other thing I would say is if I'm them, I'm exhausted. I just played 100 games.
Well, yeah.
I just played my butt off in the last couple of series. Denver took me to 7. Indiana took me to 7. I played baseline to baseline every game. I don't have enough energy to get excited after the game.
I'm sure they're retired, but they're also 22 years old, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, they're good.
Somebody must have said something, because it's only natural to climb the walls when you've done what they did. So somebody must have said,
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think someone said, hey, let's act like we've been here before.
I guess.
Or let's act like we'll be back. Let's not act like this is
both of those things are probably true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then I'm also reading this morning that they are looking to package their draft picks, which I think they have 3, to move up in the draft tomorrow night to get a better player. I mean, this is a team they're going to be relentless. They are. I know you don't want to hear it, but they're built to last for a long time.
It's not going to last. Something bad will happen. Here's one listener. Who is this? I lost the name of the listener who texted this in. Their idea as to why the celebration was so different between the Florida Panthers, who climbed the walls and drank all the booze possible, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who just kind of stood around the locker room shaking hands. One listener says one sport is scripted and the other is not.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Sometimes it's tough to fake it.
That was Simon. Simon said that. Josh, you know
Simon
that guy?
said.
No, been talking trash.
I'm not trying to talk. I thought this was cute. Chet Holmgren, he proved this at a post-game press conference the other night. Chet Holmgren has no idea how to pronounce Michelob.
But for now, I got my Michelob Ultra joints. And
Boy.
these work more than fine.
Is it possible that it was because he was reading it? Because I know I've done that before where I forget how to pronounce a word I know how to pronounce because I'm reading it.
I mean, anything's
he must know
possible.
Michelob.
Or maybe he's just straighter than a Grizzlies D and
Yeah,
he doesn't
it's
drink. Or
possible.
I don't know. But he was referring to, he had a pair of goggles like they put on when they spray each other with the
Right.
champagne. And it had Michelob Ultra was the brand of goggles.
I guess that's a harder one.
Instead, he said Michelob, like he would say Michelle or Michelin or something.
But for now, I got my Michelob Ultra joints.
Oh.
And these work more
Joints?
than fine.
I've heard people pronounce it that way before. That one, and people cannot wrap their head around the fact that it's not Honey Weiss, it's Honey Weiss.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought.
Or maybe it's a bit amongst friends, you know, like somebody will say Target Boutique. Maybe they call them
You never friggin' know. I don't know.
Bush Lattes.
Oh, yeah.
Like I say, I live in Savage instead of Savage.
The veg.
Savage.
Did you guys see the video going around of SGA? Is that who it is? Trying to help the MVP, last name Hart, try to hold up his baby's head.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, the OKC's MVP of the game or whatever. He's holding his baby.
Holding his baby.
And the baby, you're supposed to support its neck. The baby's head is just like completely off to the side. And SGA looks so concerned. He's like trying to push the baby's head up.
Oh.
It's a really cute video. I'll post it on 93x.com.
Just a baby's head rolling around.
He's just zonked.
Wow.
This texter says, my name is Mitch. The guys at work call him Michelob. That's clever. I wouldn't have come up with that.
I mean, who knows? But I'm shocked that a 20-some-year-old kid doesn't know how to say every beer brand. Hell, I think I had them all down when I was 11.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he doesn't. That's why I think there's got to be something else to it.
Some people just can't pronounce words.
Yeah, that's true.
that.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
You should have heard my dad try to say ibuprofen when he was still alive. Good God. Unbelievable. He couldn't say anything.
Hilarious.
Ibuprofen. Randy Shaver, the NBA draft is when? Thursday night?
Thursday and Friday this
Thursday. What? But they just won't
No,
leave
wait,
us
wait,
alone.
wait. No,
What?
am I right? Do I have that right?
I
Or
don't
is it
know. I'm
Wednesday,
asking you.
Thursday?
I'm asking you. Because I don't follow.
Hold on. I put it in my phone because I didn't want to forget. I know, that's weird. It is Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay. Well, then tomorrow.
Round 1 is tomorrow. Round 2 is Thursday.
I think we talked about this last year, but 2 nights NBA draft is wholly unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary, for sure.
Any televised draft is totally unnecessary.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it
SC
isn't.
Willi Myles.
100% true.
It's
sorry,
true.
Randy.
Whatever.
Nobody needs to see that, man.
Yeah, they do.
What did I just do? That's the first. I
Yeah,
can't
they
believe I just did that.
What?
I just burped into my microphone for the first time.
Is that what that was?
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, you had that bell going over, so it kind of muted it a little bit.
I can't believe I did that.
That was encouraged when we first started. Remember, our boss was like, more of that.
Yeah. Fart in the mic. Show
He
that
was
you're
a
bad
weird
boys
guy.
at radio.
He's a
I
weird
just,
guy.
I've been hitting the mute button for decades. Suddenly, I thought it would be cool to. See, Willi Myles, do you keep your cool in general when you're on the golf course?
Absolutely.
You do?
Yeah.
Randy Shaver?
Not really.
Really? Are you a hothead?
It just depends on the people that I'm playing with and the circumstance.
So, do you cuss and swear?
I have been known to do that, yes.
Have you broken a club?
No, but I have played with someone who has done that multiple times.
Can I guess who it
it's
was?
so embarrassing.
Sure you can.
Is it Eric Perkins?
Absolutely.
You know what's funny? I've never played golf. I've seen him at a golf event, but you hear stories about how frustrated he gets out there.
He's odd.
It's
He's a very
really-
competitive dude.
He's very odd.
I get so uncomfortable when the people, like, I cuss and swear at bad shots, but I get so uncomfortable when they, damage their own clubs or toss it into the woods. What are you doing?
I've seen Perk throw his clubs into trees, into marshes.
Wow.
It's a comedy to watch him stand behind him on the tee box and predict where the ball is going to go. That's kind of the game we all play when we play with Perk.
Is he having, what's the word I'm looking for, sarcastic meltdowns, or he's really that mad?
No, they're real.
Okay.
Has he got a bad slice or something?
No, he's not a good golfer.
He's not. What's that? No, he's not a terrible golfer, to be honest with you. He actually is pretty good. But there are just, Perk is Perk. They're just moments.
Right. Janelle, you keep it together out there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine you having a breakdown. Oh, my God.
I'll tell you the way I tell my wife when she golfs with me sometimes. And I know she's listening right now. And I'm just going to go right off the bat and just say, I don't care, honey. Listen. You ain't that good to be that mad. I tell her that all the time. People who get mad.
I bet that fixes her bad attitude real quick.
Absolutely it does.
That was a really unfair statement.
If my fiance said that to me, he better count his days.
But what if he followed it up with calm down? Would that make things better?
No, I've never said that.
So you have to be a better golfer in order for it to make you mad.
Yeah. To be mad. I mean, because what do you expect when you only golf 2 or 3 times a year? You can't go out there. That's not your job.
Yeah, if you're not putting the work in at the range and on the putting green.
I'm like, professional golfers are at the range 6 hours working on one club. You come out like twice a year, and you just hit it in.
She texted.
Oh, that was fast.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, she's like that.
She
knows I'm 100% honest with her when it comes to her game, and she's got a beautiful swing. She's a good golfer, but sometimes she gets mad, and I say, you ain't that good to be that angry.
What did
Willi,
she text
you want to go out to breakfast after this? Maybe
Absolutely.
take a little time.
Absolutely.
Go to a movie or something.
Thank God I have a show after this. I have a speaking engagement. I'm gonna see if I can get some of those people to take me out to dinner. Maybe stay over at an empty house somewhere.
I need a car ride up to Winnipeg. What did she text you, C. Willi? Did she say, shut your yapper?
She sent me some, it was the angry faces.
Oh.
Yeah. The ones with the little lines in it.
So she's pissed.
No words, just emojis. Oh, you're
just
screwed.
Emojis. Yep, just the angry emojis.
It's been so nice knowing you, C. Willi. An absolute pleasure.
No.
What is something that she would say you're not as good at as you think you are?
Oh, interesting.
No, my wife know what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And I don't pretend to be good at it. So she knows that about me. Like anything, if I decide to do something, I'm good at it. Things I'm not good at, I do not attempt. Like I am not a do-it-yourselfer guy. Like I don't try. She will tell you that 100%. Like if Willi don't think he can do it, he doesn't even try.
Yeah, there's a guy that does everything. You just have to find the guy.
Exactly.
Right, see, Willi?
Absolutely.
You just gotta find the guy.
And I tell her, you didn't marry that guy. Right. And that guy told you that from day one. Like I told my father, like I'm going to go to college. I'm going to get an education so I can get an office job. My dad go, I hope so. Mm-hmm. Because you're horrible.
You can't do anything else.
I've never seen someone sweat when I just tell them what I want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even doing it yet. I said, because it's physical labor, Dad, and I hate physical labor.
Here's why I brought up the golf meltdowns. I saw a video that some of you golfers might find cute. A ladies golfer by the name of Maya Stark. She didn't really have that much of a meltdown. I mean, she was mad at her putter. She didn't even swing it that hard. She was swinging it out of frustration. She kind of knocked it into her golf bag, and the club head fell off. So I don't know the rules of golf, but you can't go get another putter? Because the next time she was on the putting green, she had to use something called a wedge.
I believe you have to play with what you start with in your bag.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So she couldn't call her, what do they call the roadie, the one that hangs out with them?
The caddy.
Caddy.
The roadie, yes.
You posted that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You can see that on iTrex.
The next time she was on the green, she had to putt with her wedgie. Yeah. And it didn't look so good.
I would have got down on the ground and shot it like a pool shot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That happened to me in a golf tournament. Back when Golf Galaxy.
Yep.
No. Yeah, was it the Golf Galaxy, or was it the Golf Channel comedy tour? Not comedy tour. golf tour.
Oh, for Christ's sake, what was it?
He's a little shook up. He's
another
You
player.
were playing a game of golf.
My club was laying on my bag, and another golfer walked by and stepped on and broke my putter. He stepped right on it.
Oh no!
And so and the official came and said, so I had to finish out the round. I had like 8 holes left.
And you had to use your Wedgington?
Yeah, my wedge.
My God. Did this other guy buy you a new putter?
Yes, he did.
Oh.
Yes,
well,
he
good.
did. Absolutely, he did. Yeah, I bought it, sent him a receipt, and he sent me a cashier's check.
Well, that's awful nice.
I insisted it be cashier.
Heck yeah.
Oh, no, I insist.
And you were at the Golf Galaxy Golf World John Daly Invitational.
Right. I can't even remember what it was called now.
The MVP of last year's Super Bowl and the starting quarterback for my favorite NFL team, Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles, he wrote a new children's book. Did we know this already, that he wrote a new children's book?
This is new.
I'm very excited to share this moment with you guys. It's always been a dream of mine to have my own children's book. And today, that dream finally comes true. My debut book, Better Than a Touchdown. With this book, I'm excited to extend some of my lessons learned throughout my journey to the next generation and encourages our kids to believe in themselves. I hope you guys enjoy. Go Birds.
This book won't be coming out until 20 and 26. 44 days from now will be his birthday, just for the record. The book is called It's Better Than a Touchdown, and in the book he lists the things in a kid's life that can be better than a touchdown, like smoking cigarettes and vehemently disobeying your parents.
Definitely better than a touchdown.
Oh, man. I love that man.
Oh, man. He's a good guy.
You know what my friggin' wife found online yesterday? Something really cool. And I'd love to try to swing by this joint. A new deli that's opened in Minneapolis summers. 46th and Grand. Does that tell anybody anything?
Yeah, I grew up right by there.
Oh, word life. A joint called North Star Deli. It's a sandwich shop dedicated to the Minnesota North Stars.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Sweet.
And
name their sandwiches after players?
Well, they did a little bit of that, Randy Shaver.
Okay.
There'll be memorabilia everywhere in the joint. I understand it's open right now. They've got North Stars memorabilia everywhere. Minnesota Fighting Saints stuff in there, too. They got the actual green and gold seats from the old Met Center you can set in somewheres in the joint. And they're hoping to branch out to maybe Mankato, which would be a perfect spot for another NHL franchise, as we discussed a week or two ago. Or the Windy City, Duluth.
I'm looking at their menu. I got my eye on the Dino Panino. That's cool.
Dino Panino.
They got a sandwich called the Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
For Mike Madonna. They got, like Dana said, the Dino Panino. They've got Basil McRae Tomato Bisque. They've got Herb Brooks Focaccia.
Focaccia.
Yum.
They've got something called Zamboni Dip. And like the Gump Worsley Head Trauma Burger or something. I don't know.
Sin bin cake.
I like that the kids' menu is called the Pee Wee menu.
Yeah. That's neat.
I like the sound of that.
I'm going to check this place out, absolutely.
That joint right there. The North Star Deli.
Huh.
Did you date
I bet
any?
they don't have a championship sandwich.
Oh, God, don't go
You're
there.
sitting in the same room with him.
Don't go there.
Like, I'm safe to make a joke like that because he'd have to run a long way to get me right now.
It is a weirdly long way for how close you are.
I know, isn't that weird?
Very roundabout.
It's kind of comforting some days.
I don't know why you got to come off like that. See Willi Myles.
I didn't know, man. It was, it was trigger.
You can't even skate.
No,
punk.
Cannot.
He's not denying that.
I won't even try.
Me and your wife are going to run your ass to Winnipeg. Janelle, you date any old North Stars back in the day?
Nope.
You know who I bet Janelle would have loved? Darian Hatcher.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you would have loved Darian
that?
Hatcher.
I don't know.
He's an old North Star.
Okay.
Beautiful hair, big, tall, handsome sumbitch. Hell of a player, Darian Hatcher. A lot of curls in his hair.
Oh.
He was on the 96 World Cup of Hockey team that beat friggin' Canada. He was the one who put that shot on goal, and then Tony Amonte, Amonte scores. I wish we had the old audio. What was his name? Doc Emmerich. God, that was such a great moment. Mike Craig. Another handsome old North Star with a lot of good hair. I thought you would have made a run at Mikey Craig.
I don't think I could name one person on that roster.
Oh, I'm sure you can. I'm the guy for that. I'll just bore you for hours with rolling through. One of my favorite stories about Mike Craig and Mike Craig and Darian Hatcher. This is when Bob Gainey was coaching the team in the early 90s, and they started to make helmets mandatory. Darian Hatcher and Mike Craig, they couldn't have been 42 years old, right? One of them was 20, the other one's 21, and they went into Bob Gainey's office and said, is it cool if we don't wear helmets? And Bob Gainey said, absolutely not. You guys are 20 years old. What are you, crazy or something? You're putting on a friggin' helmet. But they really wanted to, in the early 90s, which was, I think there was only one player in the early 90s that went without a helmet, and that was Craig McTavish. But Bob Gainey said, there's absolutely no way I'm letting you guys go out there without a helmet. You'll be killed. Because they were both very physical players. Gainey basically said, don't be stupid. I don't want to watch you guys go to the hospital every night. You're going to wear a helmet.
Wow. That was not a very wise
going without a helmet back in the day?
I don't even know how they even got that thing flies, man. I mean, if that thing hit you in the head.
Those guys were tough, man.
No, they wasn't.
Just big, tough Canadians that didn't give two pumps if they lived or died.
Well, I believe that part, but that's not tough when you just walk around with a puck stuck inside of your head.
I don't know. Some of them wore it well. Beer league once, I went out without a helmet.
Well, that tracks.
Just for fun. I just said, F it. It was so hot. Some of these rinks we played in were so hot. And I just said, I can't have this lid on anymore. And I went out and played one shift without a helmet. The referee, the way the referee looked at me was hilarious.
Oh, you forgot something there, bud.
He came back to the bench and he said, don't do that again. But it felt so good. It was just so nice and cool out there.
Wind blowing through your hair.
Oh, well, there was no hair at that point. But, it still felt pretty friggin' good.
I bet.
All right, we got to go.
Nick, can I give a quick shout out?
Oh, of course.
Because you're such a PJ Fleck fan.
I do love PJ.
Big announcement yesterday from Roman Voss, the number one high school football player in the state of Minnesota, out of Jackson County Central. He chose the Gophers over Alabama. Voss is 6'4", 225. He's projected to play tight end for the Gophers. He is the number one player, third year in a row now, that PJ has got the commitment from the number one player in the state of Minnesota. And there's going to be four of them. There's one more kid. He's out of Triton, Minnesota. His name is Pierce Peterson. He's probably going to make an announcement in the next week or so. His choices are the Gophers or Penn State. If he chooses the Gophers, this has already become a banner recruiting season for PJ Fleck. But in the state of Minnesota, it is a monster recruiting season.
I told you, dickheads, to get off of PJ Fleck's ass years ago. Josh did too.
So I just want to say congratulations to Roman. This is a big deal for him, big deal for the city of Jackson and for his high school. They're the defending state 2A champions, and he's a hell of a football player. He reminds me a lot of Coy Parrish. He's got that same kind of qualities as Coy does. So this is a big deal.
That's awesome. I love to hear that kind of stuff. And I love to hear all the good recruits that Dinkus is getting there with the basketball team. What's his name again?
Nico Medved.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, every other swinging D in town was, PJ Fleck's just a car salesman. He's not a real coach. And Josh said, I remember that one time at the bar, Josh said, put a lid on it, bitch. Because we knew that PJ Fleck just needed some time. He needed some time. National championship this year. You heard it here first. I've always liked PJ. He's a effing football coach. Get off his ass. Put a lid on it, Cubby said from across the bar. Sky Umar, roll the boat, go Gophers.
There you go.
Thanks, Randy.
Yep.
Because I was getting texts on that, and I hadn't quite kept up on it. Thanks, Randy. Everyone thank Randy.
Thanks,
Randy.
Randy.
We're going to get the
welcome.
hell out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow there.
See ya.
Randy Shea. More with Janel Klein and C. Willi Myles when we come on back skis.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
On 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength.
We go into this hooch searching for Christ knows what.
Regardless if anybody else does it, will you do it?
There's a lot of things that are hurtful and disturbing.
Can't get anybody to talk about it. Uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it.
There's a saying, there's no atheist in a foxhole.
That was the hardest part for you coming home.
What?
How'd you get through it?
I worked hard.
The Sean Ryan Show.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
And now, KARE 11's Janel Klein, sponsored by Luther Bloomington Kia.
Yeah, we're back here on the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show with Janel Klein. Television star Janel Klein alongside Jungle Jane. It's world-class entertainer C. Willi Myles.
Yep,
Mr. Hockey, they call him. C. Willi Myles.
I said nobody ever.
Here's the deal, C. Willi and Janel. Thank you for joining us, first off.
Absolutely.
The young people are picking on us again, picking on us mature people.
It's easy to do.
Young people like Ashley over there.
Yeah, child's breath. That's what I call them.
How old are your kids now, C. Willi?
They're grown adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, 37 and 42.
Oh, cripes.
Whoa. I can't believe you have kids that old.
Oh, yeah, when you start at 12.
I was going to ask.
No, I started young, man. Right?
I guess so.
Get them out, get them in.
Get them cooking. See, the quicker you can get them out the chute, the quicker you can get them out the house.
That's right, man.
All right.
Live your life.
Over the years, have they picked on you, C. Willi, for not knowing all the hip new stuff?
But that's the difference when you have your kids young.
Yeah.
Then you kind of you stay in that mode.
Okay.
And so my daughter and I, who communicate all the time, not so much with my son, but my daughter and I would communicate. I know all the lingo.
You did?
Yeah, because she speaks it to me.
Yeah, well, Josh knows a lot of the...
Absolutely.
He knows the stuff.
You pick it up when you hang around the young kids. Yeah.
And the Gen Alpha stuff is ridiculous.
It is.
Josh, I thought of you yesterday, or it was the day before, whenever it was. I was walking through the parking lot at the grocery store, and some kid was in the car giving his mom a hard time, and she snapped back at him and said, "No. What the Sigma to you?"
Now, what you said a minute ago, the Gen Alpha stuff?
Gen Alpha.
I've never heard that said out loud.
That's what my son is, and they have their own.
Right.
You know, like every generation, they'll have their own things they say.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and this sounds like an old guy talking.
Right.
But, you know,
well, you're not a kid anymore.
I'm not. But I have, you know, a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old, and they went through their own stuff. But it was words that people use, in context people use. This new stuff, it doesn't make any sense.
It's like codes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's more like codes.
And for other parents are probably getting this one, too, with kids my age. So my son's 13. 6'7", that's the new one. Everything's 6'7". And it's actually kind of a funny bit at this point, because have you heard that too, C. Willi?
Yep.
6'7", I think it's from a song or something.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have a clue. Neither does Janel Klein. So dump a Gen Alpha word on us, me and Janel Klein, and we'll see if we can tell you what it means.
Well, Ashley just did the Sigma thing. Ohio Riz was one.
I've heard you say those before. Is there a new one that you could dump
6'7".
on? Okay, 6'7".
That's the one I hear now.
I'm going to say that means pretty damn good, like above average.
Yeah, but they use it for everything.
Nice job, Nick.
Absolutely everything.
Sometimes they use it out of context.
Yeah,
what's like the meaning? Like, why did it, because it is from a song, or
I think it's from a TikTok song. Yeah, so everything's 6'7". What time are you going to be there? 6'7".
6'7".
How was it? 6'7". How tall was he? 6'7".
Right. It's like average.
When it's used in so many different ways, then it gets confusing.
Right.
Exactly.
Do you have
That's
any
what they
other
do.
fresh ones for us? Janelle, I'll let Janelle try this time.
Those are the new ones.
Oh.
I mean,
What's sigma? What does that mean?
It's undefinable.
I think it's like there's an alpha, right?
Yeah.
Like you might say this person's an alpha.
Yeah.
But this guy doesn't play by your rules. He's an alpha, but he might wear a leather jacket. You know, he's kind of like a renegade alpha. That's the way I understand.
Okay.
Never been so thankful to be old.
Yeah, when I looked it up, Josh, you were spot on. You were absolutely spot on.
About which?
The Sigma.
The Sigma
Right.
thing?
Yep.
So the young people are picking on us.
Yeah. And so, like, what I would do, it's like when they would say stuff around me, I would give them old code.
Old code.
Yeah, like I would go back. Like my daughter would say something to me, like, you know, like Blaze, and I'll be like, Onya. And she'd be like, what's Onya? Oh, see? Yeah.
So
that's
you
what
would-
we said back in the 70s and the 80s, you know, Onya.
Little taste of their own medicine.
Right. Like, y'all didn't come up with no code. We broke the code.
That's a great idea.
Like, you just adding leather to the tire, baby. I mean, you don't know what you're doing. Y'all think y'all created a code? We the code talkers.
This is nothing new. You're just adding leather to the tire.
Exactly.
Here's an example of a word that means nothing. Skibbity. Everything was skibbity.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one, Ashley?
Yeah, I have, but I still don't really know what it means.
It means cool, right?
I have no idea what it means.
And isn't there a toilet attached to it sometimes?
Yeah, I
Well,
think
skibbity
so.
toilet is what it's about.
Okay.
Right? It's like
So skibbity is just shortened.
yeah, everything's skibbity.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine when my child is here and he gets to be your son's age, Josh, what kind of lingo there's going to be.
I'm remembering more. On my mama. That's another one they
All right,
say.
on my mama. Janelle, what does that mean?
I can't.
Because I have a guess.
Okay.
Come on, Janelle. On my mama. Some of this stuff is relatively easy to figure out if you ask.
I don't know.
It's
I really
just-
don't know.
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
My guess is on my mama means like I swear.
I swear.
I believe so, but it's used out of context constantly.
Right. There are other meanings behind on your mama.
God
I
damn
gotta
it.
tell you what is no other meaning for this word is on site.
On site.
You know what
It's on site.
means?
No, I do not.
Yep.
Oh, if you ever approached and somebody said it's on site, that means there is no reconciliation. Like next time I see you, it's going down on site.
Oh,
That's the same thing as on life.
I haven't heard that before.
On site.
Here's this person's. Oh shoot, these are coming in too fast. This person says, "Don't forget that stupid effing trend of mewing." Yeah, they used to do that
Mewing?
too.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
what is mewing?
so
Basically, you turn your head to the side and you kind of draw a line with your finger down your jawline.
I haven't seen that one.
That one, and then
What,
the other one is here's another. Sorry, these are just kind of coming to me now.
And the mewing, you do that when you're proud of yourself?
Just kind of
Yeah, I'm
usually
handsome.
when you're proud of yourself.
I'm cool.
Like
okay.
you're kind of like an exclamation point on something.
Sure.
Oh shoot, I just forgot it now.
Well,
dang, there's another one that they do a lot.
take your time. We've got time, Josh. You can come up with. So the young people get frustrated with us. They get frustrated with us because we don't understand not only at times what they're saying, but we don't understand the new technology and this and that, and it goes on and on. So,
Okay, I got it.
What is it?
I got it now. So I'd say something like, "Oh, hey, Dana, do you mind? Can you hand me that notebook over there?"
Yeah,
And you
here's
do it.
that notebook, Josh.
And I go, "Good boy, good." Like it's like a real demeaning thing. Like everything they do the good boy deal.
I remember you bringing that up before.
Oh,
Sure.
I hate that one.
Yeah, that one made me angry the first time you brought it up.
I told myself I'm never doing anything for you ever again if you ever do that. That one I can't. They all do that to each other.
Here are things.
Yeah, other people are saying the 6'7" thing is out of control lately.
Here are things you might be guilty of if you're over 40. And these are the things that are frustrating the young people, that we more mature people haven't gotten a handle. So most of the examples are worded by a young person where they're wondering why we older folks can't figure these things out. For example, why does everyone over the age of 40 say chat GBT? I don't know the proper way to say that.
I've never heard anybody say that.
Never.
Well, what is the proper?
Chat
GPT.
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this young person is claiming everyone over 40 says chat GBT.
They're wrong.
I've never said.
They're very incorrect. Yes.
Yeah, nobody's ever said that.
No, I've never heard that.
Maybe they've heard one person in their life say that.
Your parent.
Yeah.
I guess I
Just
should
your parents.
skip that one. Why does everyone over the age of 40 have their phone ringtones on the loudest volume or on at all? My phone has been on vibrate since 2010.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that one. What's up, Mom? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, the easy answer is because I don't feel the vibration.
Right. Yeah.
So what's so wrong with having your ringtone on?
And we don't walk around with our phones in our hands all day.
Right.
We sit it down. So if you sit it down, you won't hear it vibrate.
Do you at least change your ringtone, or is it the classic one that it came with?
I
Because
got
I'm sick of
one that
hearing the classic one that it came with.
I don't know how to change my ringtone.
Yeah, actually, you're right. When I'm hanging out with
Okay,
my
that's
parents,
old.
one of their phones starts ringing, it sounds like a tornado siren going off. It's so loud.
Yeah.
It's startling.
Like, how do you avoid people?
That's how we know when the phone is ringing. Why is it uncool to know when the phone is ringing?
It is true, though. Young people tend to just leave it on vibrate.
I don't
And
even
that's
leave
why
it on
they miss
vibrate.
a lot
I
of
have it on full
calls.
silent.
They miss calls. They miss calls all the time. Like,
I
had my phone on silent.
I want to miss those calls, see, Willie.
That's right.
Janel Klein, you're a cell phone gunslinger. You've got 2-3 cooking at a time.
Yeah.
So you have them on vibrate? Do you have a ringtone?
I usually do have them on silent because I'm always worried that it's going to go off at the wrong time.
You're live on the television.
Well,
sure.
right, yeah.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus said his coworkers over 50 say they sent an email when they mean a chat.
Yeah.
Why do people over 40 love the thumbs up emoji so much?
Quick.
Yeah, it's just kind of the standard go-to.
All right. It's quick. All right. Just means, okay, cool. Got it.
Caught it.
That's another one I don't get because I get those thumbs up all the time from the young folks in my life.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've still to this day, never sent an emoji to anybody. Why do people over 50, they go 40 and 50 back and forth here, and they need us to explain ourselves. Why do people over 50 use voice to text for everything? I've never used voice to text.
That is frustrating.
Oh, my gosh. My mom's text messages. Next time I get one, I got to read it to you guys. They are insane sometimes.
Oh, I do it all the time, but then I'll double check it unless I'm driving.
Yeah, she does not double check it whatsoever, Josh. Half the time she texts me, it's me trying to figure out what she's meaning.
Is it just one big run-on sentence?
Yeah, but I usually get it. I usually can figure out what she's trying to say.
You're fluent in mom.
Yeah.
Have you done this? I suppose you just said you don't do it very often. I do voice to text so much. Like if I'm going to leave myself a voice memo because I want to remember something specifically, I'll say go to store, period. And then don't forget to pick up Mountain Dew, ellipsis. I'll say stuff like that when I'm just trying to record something. I'm going to listen back later. I'm so used to talking that way.
I've never done it. See, Willi Myles, voice to text, is that your game?
No.
Janel Klein?
No.
Well, you're not over 50. You're nowhere near 50.
So the thing is, too, I don't know. Okay, so it's voice to text, but then I also have people that will record audio messages and then just text those to me.
Oh, no. You have some of those people in your life?
What is that?
I do not like when people do that. I know on I'm sure on any phone you can do it. But yeah, you can just hit record.
Yeah.
And it's like leaving them a voicemail, but sending it in a text. And so then you have to sit there and listen to this person talk for 3 minutes.
It does defeat the point of a text.
Yes.
Where you can get the information
Really?
very quickly, and you can do it anywhere versus going someplace where you can listen to something.
Yeah.
You get a message on your phone. You see it's from your friend Donnie. You hit a button, and it's him speaking to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need that nonsense. The young people are done with us. They're done with our nonsense. We can't follow their language. We can't keep up with their techie, this and that. Here are the top beefs of the young people directed towards the older folks.
Well, I've got a complaint about the young people, based on one that came up a few seconds ago about old people having their ringtones too loud.
Let them have it, Cubby.
Young people refuse to just hold their phone to their ear. It seems they always have it on speakerphone.
Yeah,
I hate when
you see
people do
that a
that.
lot.
Or like a FaceTime type thing. I don't really get that.
Yeah.
Well, I think holding your phone up to your ear is what the old people do, so they try to avoid it at all costs.
It's proper.
And I don't get the FaceTime just to FaceTime. I get if it's like an important announcement or something, or you're, hey, look at this new baby I just delivered, that type of thing. But just checking in with somebody and doing a FaceTime, I find that to be completely unnecessary.
I hate FaceTime.
Look at this new baby I just delivered.
So it's like an OBGYN on the phone?
Hey, check out this rando baby.
Give us back our baby. It was just born. Well, hang on a second. I got to go on FaceTime.
I'm making a TikTok.
Yeah. All right. So, and the way the young people worded it, they went this route. They said, you're over 40, and sometimes they use 50. If you do this, blank. That's how they worded it. So, you're over 40 if you capitalize random words in a text message. Well, I can tell you, I can explain that right now. You accidentally bumped the caps button.
I do that all the time.
Absolutely.
It adds something.
You're over 40 if you pronounce Chipotle. I'll get there. You're over 40 if you pronounce Chipotle as Chipotle. I don't know the proper.
Chipotle, but my mom calls it Chipotles. She always adds S's to everything. I've noticed that older people like to do that.
Nick adds S's to things where there's no S's.
Yeah, I've had. Yeah. So which one is it?
People say Chipotle.
I've neither one.
Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle.
Who cares?
Neither one. It's Cola Bola. That's what I call it.
You're over 40 if you call every picture a screenshot.
Oh, I get crap from listeners sometimes because I'll say, oh, yeah, I taped that. And people are like, oh, did you really put in a VHS tape and tape it? And I feel weird saying DVR'd it, so I'll just go recorded it.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember we were having a conversation with Nick. He was, not very good with technology. About how if you were going to attempt to record something, you would need to go get out a video camera and physically record your TV if you wanted to record a show.
I have very little knowledge on that kind of thing. You're over 40 if you grunt like an Olympic power lifter at the urinal.
Find myself more and more guilty of that.
Well, it stings. You're over 50 if you hold your cell phone with two hands.
I think another one talking about the cell phone is, you're over 50 if you use your pointer finger on your cell phone.
Oh, I've seen that. That's a very dad move.
Yep.
Oh. And also when your text,
and
your
you
font size is so big, that you can read it from space.
Nick's what's wrong with that?
That is so Nick.
What finger am I supposed to use on my phone?
Thumbs.
Your thumbs.
Your thumbs?
Yeah, because you're holding it with your other four fingers and you're just scrolling with your thumb.
Oh, that's stupid.
I love watching you poke at your cell phone.
Especially kind of he's like squinting to see it.
Well, that's how we fingered our old phones, was with our index fingers. I didn't dial on the rotary. I didn't use my thumb on the All right.
Rotary.
You're over 40 if you lick your index finger to turn a page. You're over 40. Oh, I'm guilty of this. I know that. You're over 40 when you need to read whatever someone's T-shirt says. I do that. When someone walks into a bar with a bunch of words on the T-shirt, I have to look at it and go, 1999 and National League champion. I don't know why. I have to make sure. You're over 40 if you have a phone case that opens like a book.
Oh, I always thought those were cool. I've never owned one of those, but they have ones that look like classic books, too. I've always been tempted to get one of those, but it just wouldn't fit in my pocket.
Do you use your thumbs on your cell phone, Janelle? Because you're a cell phone professional. Or do you use the index?
Janelle can text on two phones at once. It's incredible.
You just picked up your phone. You use your thumbs.
Yeah.
So I'm the only one that stabs at it like a booger, like you're mad at it.
Yeah. One of the things on the list is why does everyone over the age of 50 text short, incomplete sentences like they're using or sending a telegram? I do that. Sometimes I have to go back and change it because I do the exact same thing. Like in the cartoons where it'll be like, hey, I'm on my way out to see you. Stop. What time do you think we should be there? Stop. Just like a telegram. I do that all the time. I think I use too many short sentences.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Something else I know I'm guilty of. My wife gets on my case about this all the time. You're over 40 when you shout over the telephone. I do. I raise my voice. I don't know why. I still have it in my head that it's difficult to hear over a telephone. Cellular telephone. I don't know. I do. I shout. My brother and I on the phone together is obscene. Both of us. We are both talking so loud. I don't know what, when we were kids, maybe our phones sucked because, yes, we shout at each other. And my wife just sits in the corner going, what in the living hell is going You know you're over 40 if you take 10 minutes to use the ATM.
Somehow get it stuck on the Spanish mode.
Gosh, that's the worst. I've helped so many people at the ATM. Why did it just print my balance? Well,
this is a funny text. How do you tell if you're under 40? You still live with your parents.
There you go. Boom.
Ashley, have you ever tried to help somebody at one of those Coke Freestyle machines that might be a little older?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
there's frustration.
you're going to be there for a while.
That's for sure.
What is a Coke Freestyle machine?
Your meal's going to get cold before they figure that out.
What is that?
That's the one where you go up to like the computer basically and you say, I want this kind of pop and then I want all these different things mixed in there.
I would have no idea. I can't even walk into a McDonald's anymore because they have that screen that you have to. I don't get it.
I did that one time.
Yeah.
I walked into McDonald's because the line was so long, the drive-thru. So I said, I'm just going to run in and grab me. I just wanted some chicken nuggets, right?
Yeah.
I go in there, and I walk up to the counter. Nobody would help me.
Right.
And the dude walked up, and he said, can I help you? I said, yeah, I just want to, some McNuggets. And he goes, yeah, you got to order it from over there. I'm like, but you're right here.
Right.
Right here. Take my order right now.
I wonder if even going in is an age thing.
Yeah.
Since you can just order on your app and run through the drive-thru.
Yeah.
I went into a Taco Bell about a month or two ago, and everybody in there was older. They were about, 40, 50s.
We called the order from a restaurant once, and my wife did, and they're like, why are you calling? Go on our website.
Oh, I got friggin' laughed at a few months ago because I said, well, let me call the pizza man real quick. And my wife said,
What?
You're going to get on the telephone? I said, yeah, well, how the hell else are we going to get a hold of him?
Hey, but that's the only way you can usually pay cash if you're having it delivered is you have to actually call on the phone.
Well, I didn't.
Because, this particular place, they don't even want you calling in.
Right.
You just said, go through our website.
That's what my
sorry,
wife said.
I wanted some human connection.
I quit going to McDonald's that day. I haven't been back.
You're
I'm like, dude,
boycotting
there's
them?
no way. And then you go to the drive-thru, and then they say, "Well, are you the mobile app?"
Oh, don't even get me started on that.
I'm not downloading McDonald's mobile app.
I got kicked around a lot. She told me that the pizza place would probably laugh and hang up on me if I got. I said, well, what has happened? I can't call the pizza man anymore.
UPS, Golden Valley Delivery, Jesus. I do this exact same thing. You know when you're over 40 or 50 when you have to turn down the radio or have quiet so you can see where you're going in the car. I have to do that. I have to tell my son, hey, calm down. I'm a little lost here. I got to figure out where we're going.
Dude,
there's a lot of traffic.
Whenever I encounter unexpected road construction, I turn the radio off.
Because it's distracting.
Because I need to.
I do that too, but I think that stems from when I used to smoke weed. Because I would think all right, if I need to hear that or if I need to see that better, I just got to turn this down.
I love McDonald's, and I generally enjoy going in to the joint because I just like to see the people and look at the happy workers back there making. But now I'm too afraid to go in there because you got to stab at that screen, and I don't know what I'm doing, Janel Klein. I don't know what I'm doing.
You know what's so crazy is the few times I go in there, it's all retired people having morning coffee. How do they order? Because they don't know how to do it.
Their grandkids must have showed. See, no one has shown me how to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of these techie things I've just never been shown, so I will avoid it at all costs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, real quick, because this is a good one. Double D's Jesus just texted in, and this is something my parents have always done. I want to know if you guys do it. When you leave a voicemail, why is it that my mom and dad will be like, hey, this is dad, or hey, this is my, I know. That's how cell phones work.
I recognize the voice. Yeah.
And your name popped up.
Yeah, I have an uncle that does that every time, and he signs every text with his name.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got your number saved, man.
It's kind of endearing at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
So, Ashley, tell the young people, you and your people, lay off.
Yeah.
Can we live?
Yeah.
We're just trying to live our lives.
Right.
What do you think of this one? This text says, not too sure what age this begins, but there should be a certain point where you're too old to use the self-checkout at Cub.
I agree on that.
Yes.
Well, we got to pull the plug, but we've had a lot of laughs here with our guests, Willi Myles and Janel Klein, and we wish you the damn best today. Have a good one.
Yep,
Thanks, you guys.
Nice seeing you.
You guys
Always.
Thank you to Dealer Mechanic Jesus listening all the way in Iceland today. It's afternoon where he's at. We appreciate that. And I drive a Hyundai, but ride your dad, Jesus.
It's one of my favorites.
She sent in a beautiful text to her boyfriend, which reads, "Happy Taco Tuesday, babe. And I'm not talking about dinner." God bless you one and all. We're Audi 5000.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.